ESPN, the world's leader in motorsports coverage, is live today at Daytona International Speedway for the Pepsi 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. Florida in July. It's hot and it's humid. The forecast is for the chance of rain later this afternoon, but we should be able to get the race in with no problem. Good morning, everyone. I'm Bob Jenkins, and welcome to Daytona as we begin the second half of the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup season. This is where it all began in February when Dale Jarrett beat Dale Earnhardt to the checkered flag. And as we take a look at the point standings, those two drivers are at the top, with Earnhardt 213 points ahead of Jarrett. Rusty Wallace is third, Kyle Petty is fourth, and Morgan Shepherd is fifth, 287 points behind. But there are other stories here besides Dale and Dale. We have stories about sleepers, streakers, and sneakers. And we begin our discussion of those with Ned and Benny.
Well, Bob, we're going to talk about sleepers, but first of all, I think we ought to talk about Kyle Petty. Ned, I've been so impressed on the pole for the Daytona 500. On the outside pole here, they seem to have found something.
Yeah, the Pontiacs have been really strong on the restrictor plate tracks this year. They have some new body parts on the car, which I think has helped them slip through the air, and of course works well with the taller spoiler that they have now. Rusty Wallace ran very strong here in Daytona in February as well, and was strong at Talladega, but the guy had two big crashes in both of those places. You got to wonder how he feels going into this race today. Do we have some sleepers in this field?
We have definitely got some sleepers. No, guys, not that kind of sleeping. Look at Jeff Gordon, Musgrave, Spencer Master. Hey, guys, wake up! It's time to go racing, and Ned, maybe we're going to find a winner out of this sleepers today.
Well, neither of these drivers have ever won a NASCAR Winston Cup race, and today just might be the day. But there's one guy who fits in the streaker category, and Jerry Punch will talk about him. Now, Jerry's not in the normal form that we think of streakers, right?
No, it's not, Ned. This one's going to wear clothing, although it might be a little cooler if he did, because the temperature is expected to approach 145 degrees in the race car. The streaker we're talking about, Modesto, California's Ernie Irvan. Take a look at his streak. Restrictor plate racing last year, he won here at Daytona, then won at Talladega, won this year back at Talladega in May, and he's back on the pole here at Daytona. This driver likes the plates. One crew member said Ernie's the kind of guy you tie him in the car, tie the throttle wide open, and let him streak. He'll go straight to victory lane. So from the front of the field with our streaker, let's go to the back of the field, who some people have called a sneaker. Here's Sean Curtin.
Well, Jerry, as you look at Ken Schrader's qualifying speeds, on Thursday, almost 5.5 miles an hour faster than he was during second-round qualifying on Friday. Now, on Thursday, in post-qualifying inspection, NASCAR found an illegal carburetor setup on Schrader's car. As a result, he has been suspended. His car owner, Papa Joe Hendrick, has been suspended for 4 races. It is under appeal. It will be heard next Tuesday, so Schrader will race today. Now, basically, what the setup did, it created an air leak around the 4 stud holes on the restrictor plate. What that did was allow a little more air to get into the intake manifold, hopefully to build just a little more horsepower. Now, the key here is the sneakers may not be on the race team. From Ken Schrader on down, they say they had no idea about the setup. Now, they get their engines from an outside source, so Bob will just have to wait and see. The appeal will be heard on Tuesday. We'll have more on that process later in the race.
Well, the qualifying time and speed that he turned in yesterday wasn't good enough to make the field, and so he will have to take a provisional and start 41st last in today's race here at Daytona. ESPN Speed World coverage of the Pepsi 400 being brought to you by Pepsi, who reminds you to be young, have fun, drink Pepsi. We are looking down on Daytona International Speedway from the airship Shamu, the SeaWorld blimp. Shamu represents SeaWorld marine life parks in Florida, California, Ohio, and Texas. SeaWorld is a world leader in marine life conservation, research, and education programs. And as you look down, you can see that there is quite a crowd on hand here today. Now, normally this race doesn't attract as many as the Daytona 500. There isn't quite as many, but we have a great crowd on hand here today as you look down on the racetrack. Now, there is a little bit of a delay here because we have a power problem that is plaguing some areas of the racetrack, and so we're not going to be able to get underway just quite yet. But now the word has been given to start engines, and so after they warm them up a little bit, they'll be going onto the racetrack and completing a few warm-up laps before getting the green flag. 160 laps of competition here this afternoon, 400 miles at Daytona International Speedway, and here is a look at the racetrack itself. Pole speed 190.327, time 47.287 seconds. The field is separated by 7.8 seconds.
Miles per hour. 7.8 miles per hour. There's the racetrack coming off the tri-oval. Down into turns 1 and 2, bank 31 degrees. Do you want to talk, Bob?
That's all right. You go right ahead. You've driven this track a lot more than I have.
And coming off turn 2, when you start down the back straightaway, it looks like it's forever. It's about 3,600 feet. It looks like it's 9,000 feet. Barely can see turn 3, and we can see 3 and 4 banked exactly the same as 1 and 2, 31 degrees.
And then on to the tri-oval, which is banked at 18 degrees, completing a lap around Daytona. The tri-oval length is 2,400 feet. The 44 car has its hood up. That's Rick Wilson. He's turned in a very good qualifying effort. He's scheduled to go in 9th position here this afternoon, but as you can see right now, they have the hood up on the STP Pontiac. Well, let's take a look at the 41 cars that comprise the starting lineup for today's event. Pole sitter is Ernie Irvin in the Kodak Film Chevrolet. He's from Modesto, California, qualifying at 190.3. Outside, the only other driver above 190 at 190.030 is the mellow yellow Pontiac driven by Kyle Petty. The second row consists of Davey Allison from Hueytown, Alabama in the Haviland Ford car number 28, and Derek Cope, former winner here from Spanaway, Washington in the 98 Bojangles Ford. Third row, Dale Earnhardt in the GM Goodwin Chevrolet, and Bill Elliott in the Budweiser Ford. Bill off a victory last weekend in Grand National competition. Harry Gant and Darrell Waltrip will start in row number 4. The fifth row consists of Rick Wilson in number 44 and the most recent Winston Cup winner, Ricky Rudd. In the sixth row, it's Michael Waltrip in number 30 and Rick Mast in number 1. And the seventh row, Dale Jarrett and Ted Musgrave. Row number 8, Hut Strickland and Brett Bodine. The ninth row, Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin. And as you look at the rest of the starting lineup, let's go down for a report from John Kernan on Rick Wilson's potential problem.
Bob, I just talked to Robbie Loomis, Wilson's crew chief. He thinks they have the problem fixed. It was around the master cylinder. One of the O-rings had worked its way out. The bolt into the master cylinder had worked its way back. They've tightened that all up, and Robbie Loomis says it should not create a problem for them.
The rest of the starting lineup, Bill Parsons and P.J. Jones in the 18th row. Richie Petty will start in row number 19. And there you see that Ken Schrader starts in 41st position, taking a provisional to get in. There's a tire story here this afternoon. Jerry has that.
Exactly, Bob. You know, not much changes between February and July here at Daytona, except the temperature here outside. It's about 25 degrees warmer than it was in February. The plates are still 7/8 of an inch. The spoiler still at 40 degrees. But the tires, the big story this week. Goodyear said the drivers complained last July they had a push. The cars were too tight. They only had 3/8 of an inch stagger across the radials. They came back this July with a different set of radials, a softer left side tire, and now the stagger 1 full inch. Now the drivers are complaining the cars are too loose. They really slip and slide, entering the corner and coming off. And remember, when a car gets behind you and takes rear air off your spoiler, your car's going to get even looser in traffic. So the early laps could really be a problem. Now, a lot of the crews have been fighting that problem all week, trying to adjust the front sway bar, going to a bigger bar, 1.25 to 1.5 inches. The right front springs, huge right front springs in the car, trying to adjust that car to get it to handle. But the early laps could be very exciting because of some very slippery racing conditions because of the heat and that 1 inch stagger causing the cars to be quite loose. Bob?
And Jerry, as this race goes on and the racetrack, the heat causes it to get slicker and those tires heat up that much more. It will cause them to slide around on the racetrack. Now, this could work to Dale Earnhardt's advantage. When they were running the bi-supply tires, he liked a lot of stagger. Of course, you had that luxury with the bi-supply tires. This is the most stagger they have ever had in a radial tire under racing conditions. Earnhardt tested the tires here, and so maybe he said to Goodyear, hey, we need 1 inch stagger. Maybe it'll just suit his style and the setup for that Goodwin Chevrolet to a T.
Our in-car cameras today are being carried by Morgan Shepherd, car number 21, the Citgo Ford. Bobby Hillen carries one of our in-car cameras also. Heilig Myers Ford Thunderbird. And Jeff Bodine in the Motorcraft Ford will also be carrying one of our cameras. We'll be riding along with those three gentlemen as they negotiate Daytona International Speedway.
Bob, to follow up a little bit more on the story that Jerry was talking about and all the changes that they were making on springs and sway bars and all that kind of thing, there were a lot of changes made this morning. After yesterday's practice, they simply did not have the cars, many of them, the way they wanted them. So they made a lot of changes this morning, guessing, as they say.
As these cars pulled off pit road today, Ned, to back up exactly what you're saying, they worked on their cars so hard this morning, they were not able to get the steering wheel back in the right position. These steering wheels on the race cars, the drivers are able to slide them off and put them back on. I saw about 8 cars stop on the racetrack. And you wonder, why do they stop? They're getting the steering wheel lined up in the right position so they know where the wheels are straight ahead. But that many cars stopped to get the steering wheel back in position. That means they've all worked on the car this morning, made toe-in adjustments, made all kinds of adjustments, and still trying to get the car adjusted even as the race starts.
And talking about the steering wheel as the car is coming into turn 3 over there, Harry Gant told me last night that they had some telemetry on the car in testing here, and he said it surprised him to look down. He could see the miles per hour that the car was running. He said every time he, even on the straightaway, turned the steering wheel just a little bit, that the speedometer would go down a mile an hour. He said, so that learned me that I got to keep that steering wheel as straight as possible.
Wow, that's impressive. 1 mile per hour, just barely turning the wheel.
Well, the field is all lined up and ready to go. The pace car is pulling off of the racetrack, soon will. The crowd on its feet, huge crowd in the hot and humid sunshine here at Daytona. Now the pace car is off the track and the field is being led down by Ernie Irvan. And we should be getting a start to this 400-mile race. There it is, we're underway.
Talladega, when these cars stayed 2 abreast for about 3 or 4 laps, I don't think we'll see this in Daytona.
Probably not. In fact, they got 3 abreast there early in the race and stayed that way for a long time, too. But you probably will not see that. This track is not as wide as Talladega for one thing. But,
oh, a car spinning.
Already a crash up in turn number 2. Car up against the wall. Everybody else gets by okay. But it is Jimmy Hensley in car number 7 who has made contact with the wall. The family channel for Thunderbird is against the wall in turn number 2 as the rest of the field comes down to the caution flag. Well, that didn't take long.
Sure didn't. Here, Ernie Irvan trying to win the race. And look at Kyle Petty on the outside.
Dale Earnhardt trying to beat Kyle Petty to the line here, and he might just do it. In fact, he did.
They come across Irvan, Earnhardt, and Petty, and they are slowed already. The pace car is on the track in turn number 1. And the Jimmy Hensley car is still in turn number 2.
What a tough break for him. Just on the first lap. Didn't even get the first lap completed. Let's see if we can take a look. It's the white car. There you see they look like they're trying to go 3 abreast. Hensley down on the inside. And it looks like the car just broke loose with him, didn't it? Maybe the air was taken off the spoiler.
I really don't know. Jeff Gordon just barely misses Hensley as he goes by. And look at these other cars down on the apron of the racetrack. Fortunately, all was able to get by because Hensley started up front. He started in 19th spot.
Looked like he just got down too low, maybe got on the apron of the racetrack, and it got out from under him. Well, that's only the 2nd time for the family channel sponsoring this car, and it looks like it's going to be an early out for Jimmy Hensley. The tow truck is there. The field is reduced in speed, and we are under caution for the first time here in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. Back with more of our live coverage after this. ESPN Speed World today at Daytona for the Pepsi 400, and the field is under caution. We had a crash on the very first lap in turn number 2. It involved Jimmy Hensley. Watch the middle of your screen. The white car gets down low on the track and loses it.
Just goes around, and I guess that's Wally Dallenbach and Greg Sachs right behind him. But watch Jeff Gordon as the car goes back up the racetrack. Look at Jeff Gordon. They're almost meeting head on. Look how close it was for Gordon getting in the side of that family channel Ford.
Jeff has been involved in a couple of crashes this year in that manner, and I'm sure he was thinking, oh boy, here we go again, but he missed. There is the young Rookie of the Year candidate who is leading rookie points at the halfway point of the season. Jerry Punch is down on pit road with Danny Glad as the car comes into the pit area.
And Danny's the head engine builder. Danny, did Jimmy Hensley give you any indication as to what might have happened up there?
Well, Jerry, he said he thought he might have had a right rear tire cut down. He hadn't said a whole bunch. He said he's okay. He said the car is not that good a shape. We're going to try to fix it, get back in the race. Some of Jeff Bodine's crew said that Jeff said he was sitting right behind him in the car right behind Jimmy. He said the car went down like it had a right rear cut or blowout, and it went around on him. Nothing much he could do.
We'll let you go, Danny. Thanks a lot.
All right, thanks a lot, Jerry.
They're going to hustle back and try to get the Family Channel forward back out on the racetrack here as we are under caution of the early laps, the Pepsi 400 at Daytona International Speedway. Back with more from Daytona after this.
4 laps about to be completed out of 160. The top 10, Ernie Irvan, Dale Earnhardt, Kyle Petty, Davey Allison, and Derek Cope. 6th is Elliott, 7th is Harry Gant, 8th is Darrell Waltrip, 9th Rick Wilson, and 10th is Ricky Rudd. The field comes down looking for a green flag and a restart, and there it is. By the way, Jimmy Hensley did get out of the car under his own power. He ran to the ambulance, and so he is okay. The car is back in the garage area. They're trying to get it fixed and get him back out there.
And Dale Earnhardt quickly trying to get to the front. He wants 5 bonus Winston Cup points for leading a lap. He's been the major lap leader all year long. Lots of races.
Certainly Dale Jarrett needs the bonus points. That's one reason why there are so many points difference between Earnhardt and Jarrett, because of the bonus points that Earnhardt has accumulated. Darrell Waltrip running there alongside Ricky Rudd as they head into turn number 3, and Waltrip has qualified very well. But look up front, we have Irvan sliding from 1st to 3rd as Earnhardt gets the lead, and Petty comes in 2nd, and now Allison goes to the inside of Ernie Irvan.
Boy, you get on that outside and the train will go by down on the inside as Ernie Irvan finding out there with the 2 Fords of Allison and Derek Cope trying to go by, but now Allison having a little bit of trouble getting around.
And Cope jumped in behind Ernie Irvan, left Davey down by himself. Now Davey Allison in a pretty precarious position trying to get by.
As those 2 cars run side by side, Earnhardt and Petty pull away.
That's usually the case when you have 2 running side by side. They aren't going to run as fast as 2 cars singled out like Petty and Earnhardt are up there.
Now here comes Ricky Rudd on the inside of the Tide Chevrolet. Maybe he'll get hooked up with Davey.
Boy, Rudd is on the move. He passed Rick Wilson. You see how far ahead of him he is, just over a half a lap. Now he has caught Davey Allison, so he might help push him right on up through there.
If nothing else, a big confidence booster for Ricky Rudd and the Tide team, winning Michigan after not leading a green flag lap all year. Then he comes on to win the race, although it was decided somewhat by fuel mileage at Michigan. There you see Irvan running 3rd, and the battle for 4th was between Davey Allison and Derek Cope.
Say what, these cars are struggling in the corner because we saw Rudd right behind Davey Allison. Got down in turn 1. Something happened. He was not able to stay on Allison's bumper. Davey back in that same spot with no one to help him. Here comes Dale Jarrett on the inside, and Darrell Waltrip following Dale Jarrett. And then I'm so impressed with the job that Darrell Waltrip has done to hold. At Talladega, we saw he and Harry Gant racing for about 35th. Now he's up racing for 10th place.
Yeah, both of them qualified very well here at Daytona. It's good to see both of them up there.
More on that story from John Kernan.
Well, I was talking with Barry Dotson this morning and asked him if they had gotten their loose problem. As Jerry told you at the top of the show, a lot of the teams with that new stagger in the new radials were very, very loose. Yeah, they got the car tightened up so much that this morning they took a round wedge out of the right rear to loosen it up a little bit and added just a little bit more spoiler to kind of balance it out. And another thing that Darrell may have on his side today, Barry said they're getting about 7 miles to the gallon. That's 57 laps. 2 pit stops, they could go the whole distance.
Wow.
Wow. I tell you what, the driver's going to be, his tongue's going to be hanging out. They only stopped twice.
Yep. Actually, to go on 2 pit stops, you have to run 54 laps one time and 53 laps 2 times. I expect there'll be a lot of them good if we don't see any cautions.
Another car on the move is Mark Martin. They're on the inside.
He just went by Darrell Waltrip. Looks like Michael Waltrip behind Mark.
Martin started 18th.
There's Ted Musgrave right behind Michael Waltrip.
Morgan Shepherd and the Wood Brothers sit there forward there.
Rick Massel, another one of our sleepers.
And here comes Sterling Marlin. Sterling started pretty far back. He's coming on up through there right now. Sterling started 22nd, so he's moving up into the top 15 there.
That's another another car that really is a sleeper. A young man who's never won a Winston Cup race, but his car has been very strong. And Kyle Petty passes Earnhardt, takes the lead.
Well, we've had 3 leaders so far in the first 9 laps of the race. Petty goes to the front, Earnhardt in second, but now Derek Cope is right there in the Bojangles Ford running in third.
Derek Cope is fighting a very ill-handling race car right now, Ned. He's doing this on pure adrenaline, keeping that car up there.
And look at Bill Elliott, who is hanging right in there in 4th position. We mentioned that he won the Busch Grand National race at Watkins Glen last weekend, and now Cope takes a look to the inside of Earnhardt, going into 3, but settles back.
Besides, that's not the thing to do, not at that particular time, especially if you got a loose race car. You don't want to dive down on the inside of somebody going into the turn.
Here comes Earnhardt back on the inside of Kyle Petty.
Petty and Cope look like we're a little loose coming out of the corner. Now Earnhardt goes back to the point.
Man, did he make that look easy or what, Ned?
He sure did.
Here's Cope to the inside. Is he going to be able to? Yes, he is. He'll put it into second. And now Petty is out of the draft. And Bill Elliott, Ernie Irvan, and Ricky Rudd come along. And look, there's Jarrett and Allison also.
That's restrictor plate racing. When you back off the throttle, you lose that momentum, and you lose 5 or 6 spots. Kyle Petty has done that.
Jarrett will try to get to the inside of Petty. I think it's more of a out of the draft for Petty, don't you?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I think he's out of the rhythm and out of the draft, too. The car, Kyle normally has to be running the groove that he likes. That car is fast, but it likes to be in the groove that he likes for it to be. If he gets out of that, he will go back, and he won't force it either, which is smart.
Harry Gant on the inside of Kyle Petty.
We ride inside the Sitco Ford driven by Morgan Shepherd. That's Rick Wilson to the right.
Yep, directly behind Ted Musgrave. Jasper Engine Ford.
Up there is Petty to the right.
Some good racing going on in that group of cars. I'll tell you, as we see, there's a lot of cars. There's Darrell Walker coming down on the inside, making it 3 abreast. Is he going to go into that turn that way? Nope. There are 3 abreast.
Oh, man. Somebody back up.
Spencer, get out of there. That's not the place to be.
Time to hold your breath.
Yeah.
Well, they made it
Wow,
off the corner.
look at this as he just runs right on the back of the 16 car. What a great run he had. Now, he had to back off the throttle. Now Kyle Petty goes back. That was from Bobby Hillen's car, I believe, that you were seeing. Yes.
This is back at about 15, 16, 17 on back.
Some great racing going on in that area. The front runners, folks, are all in single line up there right now.
Yep.
The real racing's going on back here.
They're being led by Earnhardt as we continue to focus on this battle back of the pack. Ted Musgrave, 55, the Jasper US Air car.
He and Morgan Shepherd have teamed up together there trying to chase down that front pack. They had lost the draft of the front runners, but now they're coming back up through there. There you can see they're gaining on it.
Gaining on Harry Gant and Michael Waltrip.
And look at Mark Martin as he continues on towards the front.
Yes, sir. He is running in 8th position, and Benny, he started in 18th position, so he has definitely moved up more than anyone else.
Jerry, what's the problem with Kyle Petty?
Just spoke with Robin Pemberton here in the pits of Yellow Yellow Pits. He said Kyle's complaining the car's been extremely loose. As we predicted at the beginning of the telecast, Kyle, one of the first to see the car get very loose in the corners. He said, I want to get to the bottom of the racetrack and ride so we can get a pit stop and make an adjustment. Right now, one of our front row starters struggling here in the early laps.
Well, he has made it to the low side of the racetrack, but he is still losing positions. Terry Labonte has gone around him, so is Greg Sachs in the 68 car. There is the lead draft. Earnhardt, Cope, and Bill Elliott looking to the inside of Cope as they head for turn number 1. Earnhardt leads the Pepsi 400 at Daytona after 14 of 160 laps. There were 12 cars in the lead draft. Now there are only 11 as Davey Allison's car has slowed dramatically. He is coasting down the backstretch, the 1989 winner of this event. Davey Allison's Haviland Ford just seemed to quit running just as he came off of the 4th turn, and because of that he's going to have to encircle the entire racetrack. Meanwhile, here comes the lead draft now being led by Earnhardt. They Davy's going to go down a lap right there. And
on the racetrack, and he may not make it back because, as you said, Bob, there he goes. The car cut off as he came off turn 4. He was able to get on pit road. And John Kernan, what's Davy's problem?
Well, the motor just shut off. He flipped all the switches, flipped over to the second ignition. It still would not fire. They think they got a battery problem now. It seems a little bit early for battery to be dead. Perhaps one of the cables from the battery has broken off. But Davey, the crew, Robert Yates and Larry McReynolds, and everyone are waiting anxiously to see if Davey can make it down pit road to his pit area.
6th in points, but 11th in points when you look only at super speedway competition this year. Certainly not the year that he had in 1992. The car is now off of corner number 4. Looks like he will make it as we look at our first Napa field summary of the day, showing you that Earnhardt is leading Cope, Elliott, Irvin, and Rudd.
Earnhardt start moving up the racetrack.
Yeah, I think that car is beginning to get a little bit loose, Benny.
It's indicative of a car that the chassis get a little off when they move up off the bottom of the speedway. Our pole winner, Ernie Irvin, sitting back there in 4th spot.
And you can see that Kyle Petty is back to 20th. And Schrader is moving up from his 41st starting position up to 25th. This is Jimmy Horton's birthday. He's running in 32nd position.
I'll tell you what, he would never forget this birthday if he could win this race.
Well, Davey Allison did make it back to his pits. Took a long time to get back there. Is Derek Cope going for the lead there as we see Allison's car in the pits? And out on the racetrack, Derek Cope is trying to make a bid for the lead, but Earnhardt holds on off turn 4.
Came off the 4th turn a little bit low, looked to the inside of Earnhardt, pulled back in line, and will stay there as they come down past the main grandstand in the start-finish line again. John Kernan with an update on Davey Allison's problem.
Well, Bob, what they thought at first it might be the battery. It's not the battery. They've checked the distributor. It is not the distributor. So Robert Yates and the crew are looking over, thinking over every possibility as they work frantically underneath the hood. They're still not quite sure what the problem is. They have sent back to the truck to get another ignition system that they would have to install in the race car if that turns out to be the problem. But someone has been sent back to the garage area to the truck to bring back another ignition system.
In the meantime, he is losing laps, and here is Morgan Shepherd moving up.
He really is, Bob. You and I talked about it here this morning before we went on the air that he could be a sleeper in a sense because he really, that Ford normally runs good here. Morgan likes this racetrack, and he has passed Morgan Shepherd, now has passed Ricky Rudd, has moved into 6th position. He is on the move.
But watch the line that Morgan Shepherd is running. Going right to the top of the racetrack. He and Dale Jarrett have found some racetrack up there they like. The rest of the guys running on the bottom of the speedway, they're up on top, and that might be the groove that a lot of cars are going to end up before this day's over.
Morgan Shepherd has always performed well at this track. The Wood brothers, of course, have always performed well, and we could have a winning combination here.
Now we see Kyle Petty, outside pole sitter, is falling back to this group.
That is the 3rd group of cars. There are 4 right now running together. The lead group consists of 11.
Davey Allison has his car fired now and is going back out into the action. Several laps down.
See, this is Morgan Shepherd's car. Look how high he is in relationship to Ricky Rudd. Now, Rudd has moved up, and he has went by Dale Jarrett.
Yeah, now Rudd follows Morgan Shepherd right by there, too. The outside group didn't seem to work as well for Jarrett as it has been for Morgan Shepherd.
Morgan has moved to 5th position. Look at this. Started 20.
Oh, spin. Crash coming off turn 2. Several cars involved over there. That's Jimmy Spencer I see right there. Yes, it is. A Meineke Ford.
Darrell Waltrip just got through it.
Kyle Petty is now getting through.
Rusty Wallace.
And some Hut Strickland's crashed his car. I see some flat tires.
Yep. The big M there.
Brett Bodine is okay.
Phil
There's
Hart's
Davey.
coming through.
Well, a couple of our sleepers are out of the race. That's for sure. There went Jeff Purvis by. Dave Marcus. P.J. Jones and Harry Mellon's car just going by.
Second caution of the day in the first 22 laps. Here's a replay of what happened.
Well, we see Kyle Petty spinning. Jimmy Spencer. Bobby Labonte goes through. There's Hut Strickland back, and we see Labonte's going to hit the wall.
Jimmy Horton, maybe?
No, it's not Horton.
32. Rusty just got by, and so did Darrell Waltrip.
And Phil was down on the grass going through there.
Well, Jimmy Spencer hit the wall hard.
Looks like he has had some serious. I guess he's out of the car.
It appears to be, yeah. Because they wouldn't.
When the net is down.
They wouldn't hook it up to the wrecker if he was in it.
Here's Bobby Labonte, the blue Maxwell House car.
He's walking.
Bobby almost got through there, but another car hit him as he got through there, and it spun him around. We saw it just going out of the picture there when we were showing the replay.
He walked to the ambulance, so he's going to be okay.
We talked about these cars being able to run all this distance. I wonder if we're going to see any pit stops this time.
I'll bet we'll see pit stops.
Here's from inside Jeff Bodine's car, and here are 2 cars involved in the crash. I tell you what, we'll just listen.
Well, we know that Jeff Bodine was involved, but he kept going. There is the badly damaged car of Jimmy Spencer, as everyone else, just about everyone else, comes in for a pit stop. Earnhardt leading Cope and Elliott and Irvin and Rudd down pit road. Derek Cope is in. Here's John Kernan.
Bob, we thought we'd see 4 tire changes. Bob Johnson just told me they're just going to go with right sides only. Derek just complained that the car's been tied off the turns, so they will take a little ride out. Derek is away. Let's go down the road to Earnhardt's pit for Jerry Punch.
And down here, they're going to have 4 tires, 4 fresh tires for Earnhardt. And likewise, 4 car on the bottom of your screen, 3 on the top. Left side tires are already on the Earnhardt car. Earnhardt is down and away. Now Irvin is off the jacket. He is away as those 2 lead cars. In fact, almost contact between Ernie Irvin and Morgan Shepherd. They nearly come together exiting pit road.
Tell you what, the Wood brothers had a great pit stop. Got Morgan Shepherd back out right in front of Ernie Irvin.
They sure did. Had a great pit stop.
We'll see if we can.
Here's Morgan coming down pit road, and Ernie pulls out and almost in the side of Morgan Shepherd's car.
Good evasive move there by Morgan. He saw what was coming, and he whipped out onto the grass a little bit.
So a flurry of activity here after our second crash of the day involving Jimmy Spencer and others. Back with more live coverage in a moment. There's the damaged car of Hut Strickland, one of those involved in the crash we had up in turn number 2. Here is a replay from the perspective of Jeff Bodine.
Looks like that Jimmy Spencer and Meineke Ford is going to lose control going in turn 1, go up the hill trying to catch the back end.
Car just got a little loose, and as he tried to save it, it got out from under him. Now, pit stops occurred, and here is the main benefactor from all that. He came in 16th position, and he comes out in 2nd. That, of course, is Jeff Gordon.
They had to just put on 2 tires or no tires at all.
And there is Jeff now, the first car coming down here.
We see all these other fellas sitting on pit road. Get in there. There's Ernie Irvin sitting there.
No tires, it doesn't look like.
Yep, they just put in fuel.
Just gasoline. We see Derek Cope, who changed 2 tires, leaving the pits, and here comes Jeff Gordon.
Yep. Jeff was pitted down toward pit exit, but did not take on any tires. Is that a wise move?
I think it's great strategy.
Well, it's great strategy to get him in good track position, to get him up towards the front. It'll be interesting to see once the green flag drops, though, to see how those older tires perform. Let's go to the pits and John Kernan.
Well, Derek Cope was just told by Bob Johnson, his crew chief, that the right side tires look great. There was absolutely no wear, so they may have made the right call by taking on only 2 tires. Of course, they were running 2nd in the race. All that does is just move them to the top 1 position, but still a smart move for them. Have to wait and see if Jeff Gordon, what his strategy with taking on no tires. But what we're seeing here, no tire wear after 24 laps.
And as we conclude the track fact, the green flag flies, and we're back to competition. That is Derek Cope leading the way, with Jeff Gordon running in 2nd spot, then Dale Earnhardt.
And Derek Cope, the last time he led a race was the Daytona 500, and here goes Jeff Gordon for the lead.
Young man who ran so well in the Daytona 500 in February tries to get the advantage off the second corner, cannot, and Earnhardt says, if you can't, I'm going to try it. He goes way low on the track. It's almost in the grass, and he is going to get the lead.
Morgan Shepherd tried to follow Earnhardt, did not have quite enough muscle. Earnhardt back in the lead.
I think we're seeing those fresh tires at work there, fellas. I just...
Morgan Shepherd running fourth. Ernie Irvan is fifth. Then Ricky Rudd and Dale Jarrett.
See Mark Martin back in that group at the very end of the line.
Martin made a good charge up towards the front. Then he sort of leveled out. Morgan Shepherd got by him, and the car seemed to be getting a little bit loose, but I'm sure they made some adjustments on their valve moving forward during that pit stop, so he's right there with them now.
It has been an up and down season for Jeff Gordon, but on the super speedways, he has been sharp. 9 starts, 4 top 5 finishes. He led in 5 races, and he finished in second position both at Charlotte and at Michigan, and had a very, very good performance here in February.
Tell you what, this young man is learning a great deal, especially in the position he's been racing up front. Learning from the best there is in the business.
And Bill Elliott is off the pace. Elliott brings the Budweiser 4 down low and heads for his pit.
He had a good qualifying run here, Bob, one of the best this year. And everybody was thinking maybe this is the race that's going to turn Elliott's season around. Does he have a flat tire? What is the situation? Here he comes. And they are going to change the tires on the Budweiser Ford as we see Ernie Irvan making a move.
He's coming also on the racetrack. Down in a battle for 4th position with Morgan Shepherd.
They did not change tires on the Budweiser Ford. It looks like they just went over and tightened some lug nuts.
Looked like he thought he got in the wall and knocked a quarter pound in on the tire. He stopped to check it, and they discovered he did not have sheet metal rubbing the tire, sent him right back out. Meanwhile, Morgan Shepherd, Ernie Irvan still side by side. There's Rick Mast right behind Mark Martin, one of our sleepers. Another sleeper, Michael Waltrip, right behind Mast.
You guys must have woken up those sleepers because they're doing okay. The 25 car of Ken Schrader, there in now the middle of your screen, the white car, started last, 41st, but he's moved all the way up to the lead draft.
And I'll guarantee you one thing, he's got a legal carburetor on there.
Yep, guarantee you have.
He's going to try that again, isn't
Now
he?
we see Morgan Shepherd up there on the high side again as Dale Jarrett runs up on him. I thought he was going to run into him. But anyway, he goes to the inside. Morgan's car probably is not working quite as well on the high side of the racetrack now. After they run about 10 laps, watch him come back up through there. I bet he's pushing a little bit right now, but he'll start coming up through there in a little bit.
Here's Dale Jarrett and Mark Martin getting by these cars. Jarrett gets by and leaves poor Mark hung out.
John Kernan is with Jimmy Spencer, who was involved in a crash a few laps ago.
Bob, Jimmy, his accident at the infield care center. Jimmy, you're okay. What happened out there?
Well, first of all, Benny called me a sleeper, and I guess I was the first sleeper out or whatever. No, but no, just you know, there's a lot of cars out there pretty loose. You know, Goodyear changed the tires here, and nobody's really ever got the handle on it. I know we were one of the cars, and we were racing pretty hard there, and just got together with some other cars and lost it. So just a racing situation. Look at it next week, I guess.
Jimmy Spencer, it looks like their car is finished for the day. Very disappointed. That young man thought he was going to have a good run today.
The 11 car slowing down.
So whatever they thought they had wrong, maybe this is the 15 car. This is Jeff
and also
Bodine.
Jeff Bodine is slowing. He's down on the apron of the racetrack. Motorcraft Ford is limping toward the pits.
What in the world? We see the
Look, he's
damage.
got some damage there. Yeah, that's when he hit Spencer, and then we're spinning.
But they made all those repairs on that caution flag, so evidently the engine is not running on this car. Let's see if he's going to the pits or garage.
Yep, he's making the hard left into the garage area.
That's too bad. Jeff was up there in the 8th position in the Whiskey Cup point standings.
That means if the engine has blown on that car, he realizes there's nothing that the pit crew can do, so he's going to take it to the garage area.
The winner at Sears Point is out of the race, it appears. Meanwhile, it's still Earnhardt leading Derek Cope, Ernie Irvan, and Jeff Gordon. Dale Jarrett. And Jerry Punch is with Bud Moore.
And Bud, your car just headed to the garage area. What's the problem?
Well, we don't know. You know, he was involved in that wreck with Spencer and a couple of more of them, so we don't know what exactly happened. They're going to check it right now. We must have an oil line pinched or something other than caused in the wreck, so we go find out. I don't really know.
And Bud Moore will head back to the garage area to check on Jeff Bodine and try to get him back out to try to garner some of those valuable Winston Cup points, guys.
Now we have two abreast racing coming off of turn 4 again as Rudd is to the inside of Shepard, and Schrader was for a moment there inside of Mark Martin.
Now, Mark can get his car to handle on the top of the racetrack, and he and Morgan Shepard can hook up. They could go to the front.
Well, both of them seems to be strong, but just haven't been able to hit the right combination to move up there. The 5 front cars have moved away a little bit from that group as they race side by side, but Morgan Shepard will be catching them back when we come back.
It is a 5-car lead draft here after 33 laps of the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. They're all being led by Dale Earnhardt. ESPN Speed World live coverage of the Pepsi 400 from Daytona International Speedway. Dale Earnhardt leads Derek Cope and Ernie Irvin as they begin to lap some of the slower cars.
That slower car is Bill Elliott.
Bill Elliott, and by the way, Kyle Petty has already been lapped. Here's Jerry with a report on Dale Earnhardt.
Down here talking to Andy Petrie, Richard Childress, who are watching Dale Earnhardt very closely. He said you might see Dale begin to move up the racetrack a little bit, trying to look for that groove where he can save his tires the best. Earnhardt now doesn't have much choice but to move up because the car number 98 is beneath him. That is Darren Cope with the close angle forward as they head for turn 1. But what Earnhardt wants to do, the higher you get on the racetrack, the tighter the car gets. You don't slide as much so you can save your tire. That's why Earnhardt tries to move up a little bit in turns 1 and 2. But right now, he's got his hands full.
Cope is the leader, and Dale Jarrett has moved into 4th place behind Ernie Irvin. And Jeff Gordon runs side by side with Bill Elliott as he tries to lap him.
Ned, don't you know the rest of the pit crews are really watching that 24 car? The fact he did not change tires, seeing how that car reacts, might be something they'll do later on in the race.
That's exactly right. He has stayed up there better than I thought he would. Now, Derek Cope only changed 2 tires, and he's leading the race. That surprises me also. So Bob Johnson made a good call there.
Derek Cope is the leader and looking very strong. He, of course, is a former winner here at Daytona. John Kernan is down in the pit area.
Well, I just talked to Bob Johnson, guys, the crew chief, and he says that the car, believe it or not, with those left side tires that are worn down and the only changed 2 tires again, the car, instead of getting loose, it seems to be getting tighter. So they'll have to make another chassis adjustment. Remember, they tried to loosen it up that first pit stop, so their next pit stop, they'll once again try to loosen that car up. I mean, I can't believe it's running so well with it. It's tight, and Derek complaining about it pushing as he comes off the turns.
Well, he tried to break the draft coming out of the backstretch, and as they went into 3, Earnhardt, as Jerry indicated, took the high line to try to save the tires. Now he comes down low on Cope and tries to take the lead back.
Well, we saw Dale Jarrett getting on the inside of Ernie Irvin. He figured he'd get down there and maybe the draft there could help him a little bit, but he just drives right on by down on the end. Well, at least he's there for the moment. Maybe not drive right on by is the way to put it, but he drives down on the inside of him.
Now then, he's been going high. They said it was conserved tires, but was it ill handling up there?
Now, Sid Jarrett can get both of them going down the backstretch here. He has a lot of momentum going. Earnhardt moved down to block him.
And that's exactly why Earnhardt moved down, so that Dale Jarrett would not make the 3 abreast.
Well, look what we have up front. Dale and Dale.
A tale of 2 days,
That's right. Just like in February and just like we told you at the beginning of the broadcast. And I'm almost afraid to mention it, but there's the streaker, Irvin, down on the bottom. Where's the sneaker in all this?
I don't think he's far behind.
There he is.
There he is.
He's between Mark Martin and Ricky Rudd now.
Well, we label him as the sneaker, but we're not certainly accusing anybody of anything. That appeal will be heard on Tuesday in Daytona Beach, so we will cast no aspersions. Jerry?
Actually, there's a 21-member panel called the National Stock Car Racing Commission, made up of track promoters, former NASCAR, and even some former USAC officials. 3 members of that 21-member panel will be appointed to hear that appeal on Tuesday. Now, they can decide. They can totally do away with the penalty. They can overturn it. They can even triple the penalty if they wanted to. If the decision there isn't to the satisfaction of Ken Schrader and Mr. Hendrick, then they can appeal it to the national commissioner, who is Simon E. Bucky Knutson, who has the final say-so. Remember, this commission has worked before. Years ago during the Winston, when Earnhardt and Jeff Bodine were both fined and suspended, they came down here and people said, no. The commission said, no, we don't do it after the race. We're going to develop what's called the penalty box and do it during the race. Then, remember a couple of years ago also, Junior Johnson at Charlotte with the big engine, and Tommy Ellis was the driver. The commission met, said Tommy Ellis shouldn't be punished. He was just a substitute driver. They did punish Junior Johnson, but they reduced the penalty from 12 weeks to 4 races. That commission will meet on Tuesday and decide the fate and the future of the car number 25 and Kenny Schrader.
Well, Schrader is up there battling for 6th position with Ricky Rudd.
Ooh, Derek Cope almost got the wall as he exited turn 4.
Now you wonder if those tires, the fact that he didn't take on left side tires, are beginning to affect the handling of the car.
Schrader started 41st, currently is 7th. He has been as high as 6th and started scratch on the field. And now he's up on the high side of Jeff Gordon, trying to take away another position.
There's all 3 of Rick Hendrick's cars side by side, so Jeff Gordon and Schrader better drive carefully because they could wipe out the fleet.
Now, Ricky Rudd has already announced that he will not be back with the Hendrick team next year. He'll form his own. Terry Labonte will be driving for Rick Hendrick next year.
That's right, driving the Kellogg's Cornflakes car right now. Currently will be driving the Rick Hendrick car. And it will not be the Tide car next year because Tide is going with Ricky Rudd. So the sponsor has yet to be named on Hendrick's 3rd team.
And Ricky Rudd driving a Chevrolet now. Says he'll be racing Fords in the future.
We understand that Jeff Bodine, whose car dropped out a few laps ago, is being fitted for the number 7 car, Jimmy Hensley, who was eliminated in a crash. And Bodine may be driving that car before too long. They're getting the seat adjusted for Bodine right now.
So he's trying to find out what his ride in 94 is going to feel like here in 93.
Yeah, that's right.
I guess everyone realizes that Jeff Bodine is the person has bought the. And there, Joe Schrader. Is that Ernie Irvin he's going by?
Sure is.
Our pole said,
wow.
Whoa, look at this. He's alongside Derek Cope.
He got a run off that turn and just motored by 2 of them.
Well, this is an impressive performance, isn't it?
Started 41st, absolute last.
Wasn't even fast enough to get into the race on 2nd day qualifying.
Now running 4th.
Yep.
It looks like those tires, the fact that Cope and Gordon did not change 4 tires, is starting to show.
I believe it is now, Benny. Yeah, they stayed up there for a long time and still are up there running good. The track position is very important, but they're slipping and sliding a little bit now.
Here comes Dale Jarrett on the inside of Earnhardt.
Well, no, couldn't quite make it that time. Earnhardt's back end got just a little bit loose. Dale needs to lead a lap. Dale Jarrett does, because he's, as you mentioned earlier, he is way behind in bonus points this year.
I would imagine that's what someone reminded him on the radio is why he decided he would try to lead a lap.
They've tried to break away from that pack back there, but they just can't do it. In fact, now the pack's catching up to them. There's Gordon Shepherd and Ken Schrader coming up on them.
Well, the whale's eye view is from Airship Shamu, SeaWorld's blimp, painted black and white like America's favorite killer whale that you can see at SeaWorld. We're at Daytona International Speedway for the Pepsi 400 NASCAR Winston Cup race. 45 laps completed. Back in a moment. Dale Earnhardt is leading this race. He's led 37 of the first 48.
And he's broken away just a little bit, Bob. There you see him coming up on some lap traffic. Dale Jarrett just not able to hang on to him up there real close.
That's Richie Petty, Richard's nephew, that's on the inside, that white car.
Making his Daytona debut. Now, he did run in a Winston Cup race at Talladega back in May. See, Earnhardt's got himself a high line now.
Yeah, and
Jared Punch mentioned that a little bit earlier, that seems to help his tire situation.
Kenny Wallace, the Dirt Devil Pontiac. watches Earnhardt go flying by and says, man, I wish I could do that, especially today. Still running. And there's, is that Dick Trickle in the 75 car?
Second and third place belonging to Ken Schrader.
And Earnhardt going through that traffic has broken away, and Schrader has called Jerry. I think Jarrett's car is getting very, very loose.
I'm sorry, that was not Dick Trickle. Lloyd Allen Jr. in the National Refresh car, and his first ever Winston Cup start. That blue car just went out of the picture.
Yep. Here's Jarrett, started 13th.
Watch Schrader on the outside, Bob flying by.
We may have to change that. Yep. We'll have to switch those two around. Schrader started 41st, and now on lap number 49 has moved to second place. There's Lloyd Allen Jr. in number 37 down there on the bottom of the racetrack.
That's P.J. Jones in the white number 9 that Schrader's going by on the outside.
We talk about former winners at this track. P.J. Jones is a former winner in the 24 Hours of Daytona. And John Kernan has a report from the pit area. John?
Well, Ned, we were talking about maybe the guys who only changed 2 tires. We were seeing them fall back. Well, guess who changed only right side tires? Ken Schrader. Doesn't seem to have affected him. Right side tires only. That last pit stop. Car running really well. Ken Howe, his crew chief, said that Kenny radioed in several laps ago and said, hey, the rest of these guys are all crazy out here. He says, I'm trying to be careful. So I said, well, maybe Kenny saw this stuff happening. He wanted to get away from it, so he really punched the hammer. Ken said, well, I don't know, but at any rate, right now, we are having a lot of fun.
Well, they're turning in a very, very good run here in the first 51 laps of this race, all the way up to second.
Tell you what, it's an amazing thing to me that Earnhardt's able to pull away from these guys by himself, and these other fellas could hook up and catch Earnhardt, but right now they're just struggling to get around the racetrack.
Yeah, I don't think they can do it, Benny. I just don't think their cars are handling that well that they can hook up together and run down a leader.
Schrader in the last 5 Winston Cup races has gained 6 positions from 13th to 7th in the points.
There we see Schrader's Chevrolet. And there's Mark Martin. Now, he was up in the hunt just not too long ago. He has fallen back to 13th spot.
Look at this. The last 4 races led 22 laps at Charlotte, finished 28th. Really, that bottom one there, Michigan, that's the one you have to look at. Led 140 laps and finished in 6th position as the car just couldn't go the distance on the fuel. Jerry is in his pit.
And they're watching Mark Martin as he comes by. Steve Meal, Jack Roush and the crew. But yes, Steve, what's wrong with the car?
Oh, we fixed the car. We're thinking the track was going to be slick and get us real loose. And amazingly enough, the track's got real tight. So we took some spoiler off for a while ago and didn't touch the wedge. We're going to pit in about 20 laps, take a little bite out of it, and think we'll be okay. But we're just too tight, thinking we're going to end up too loose.
And that's the story on Mark Martin. The car just too tight. Hard to believe on a hot afternoon here in Daytona.
Yes, it is, with the sun beating down, but nevertheless, that's what Mark Martin reports.
And everything, it's such guesswork, trying to figure out what the car is going to do, and everything keeps changing. The tires, they change. As Jerry Punch reported, we see Martin started 18th, he's now 9th, he has been as high as 6th. But as Jerry Punch reported, the tires, they've never been here on this tire, this much stagger. Who knows what the racetrack's going to be like?
The racetrack does change with temperature changes.
Earnhardt now beginning to weave his way through some slower traffic, coming off the second corner and down the backstretch.
Now that's Dick Trickle on the inside, that blue car. Phil Parsons directly in front of Earnhardt.
Dave Marcus just behind him there. They just went a lap down.
Here's Phil in number 41. He is 25th and going a lap down.
Chip Williams with NASCAR PR just handed me a note that says no provisional starter has ever won a NASCAR Winston Cup race.
Good statistic. Yeah. Schrader is second and certainly looking like a possibility at least to do that. There's Bobby Hill, and he's had a good run as we look at him on a Saturday late, well, it is early afternoon drive now here at Daytona.
He's currently 12th in the Heilig Myers Furniture Ford, Jimmy Donlevy's car. You see that brace on the side of his head? That's to help support his head when the car goes in the corner. Directly behind Rick Wilson, the STP Pontiac. Let's see if he backs off one in the corner. Listen. Yep, backed off a little bit to get in the corner. And right back on the gas.
And another car is dropping off the pace.
Wally Dallenbach in car number 16 has slowed going down the backstretch. Well, there he is, down on the inside of the racetrack. The Keystone Beer Field. Baby Allison goes by on the outside. So Dallenbach, some sort of a problem here. Shouldn't be out of gas.
Wally has turned in some very impressive performances on super speedways and was running at one time in the lead wrap, but now the car is slow down the backstretch. Jerry, what's wrong with him? You found out?
Conversation between Dallenbach and the crew goes something like, I think we've got a rod broken in the engine. He's going to try to get it back here, but it doesn't look good for the Keystone Beer efforts.
He's between turns 3 and 4. Let's see if he can make it around. If not, we're going to have our 4th caution of the day.
I don't think he's going to make it. I do not believe he's going to coast back.
Nope, she's getting awfully slow.
And to further add to what I was talking about by a provisional starter ever winning a race, the furthest anyone has ever won a NASCAR race was 38th Darrell Waltrip in the Pepsi 400 1988.
Yep. Jerry, what do you know now?
Well, they've confirmed the fact they think they've broken a rod in the Keystone Beer Ford Thunderbird. If the car makes it back, there will be no caution. If it doesn't make it back, a lot of these guys on pit road would love to see the yellow flag, including the car number 6 of Mark Martin.
I'm not sure. He is still rolling, and he is just about to come off the 4th corner. And nope, here's the yellow. The caution is out.
So that erases the lead that Dale Earnhardt had built up. But really, he got out there, but it had stabilized. He hadn't continued to pull away from Schrader. But
here's Dale coming down, taking the caution flag.
and you see Kyle Petty right behind him. Kyle just went down another lap. He's trying to get it back, but he couldn't do it.
Already 2 laps down after starting outside the front row.
Big surprise. Thought he would really be a factor in this race, Kyle Petty.
I think NASCAR was wise in throwing the caution flag because Dallenbach is still sitting up coming off turn 4. He still isn't back to pit road. Now I bet you Derek Cope's going to change 4 tires. Jeff Gordon and Ken Schrader.
Yep.
Of course, I don't know the way Schrader's running. He just might not change any tires.
That's right. Very strong.
I tell you, as hot as it is in these race cars right now, this caution flag is a blessing. I mean, every one of those drivers just lean back on their seat right now, taking a sip of water if they have a cooler in the car and saying, oh, thank you. Thank you.
Get a breather.
Get a little bit of a breather.
Well, there's Bobby Hillen. They put their either the hose out the window to make sure the air is directed right on them, or
but his hose
has come off. His hose is off.
Yeah.
And he's trying to fix it.
Back on there. Yeah.
That's probably what he's telling him right now is, please fix my hose so I can get some air in here. But he's not concerned about track position or anything else except I need some air in this thing.
Well, how important is track position now as they come down and decide on 2 or 4 tires?
Well, at this point, it's not the most critical thing in the world. 100 laps from now or 50 laps from now, it will be very important. But right now, it's not the most important thing in the world.
We saw Hill there. He was in 11th position as we see the field now headed down pit road.
Elmo doesn't have much company out there, does he?
Just the lap cars, and the one that stays out there. All the cars in the lead lap are allowed to pit here now. We'll go to the pits. Call them, guys.
Ken Schrader's in. Ken Howell and crew will go to work. It will be a 4-tire change. They will not make any chassis adjustment. Right side's going on, right side's down. Jack swinging around, swing around to the left side. Let's go down pit road to Dr. Jerry Punch.
And a pair of lead Chevrolets getting service. 3 on the top of your screen. Dale Jarrett Chevrolet on the bottom of your screen. Left side tires going on Dale Jarrett's car. Left side already on Dale Earnhardt. The Goodwin Chevrolet heads down pit road. Chassis change in the right rear of the Interstate Battery Chevrolet. He's down and away. Here is Ernie Irvin down and away. And he got stuck behind one car, and now Dale Jarrett, as a tire has been hit on pit road, is now rolling across the grass and down to the short chute toward turn 1.
And Mark Martin is, I'm sorry, Jerry, but Mark Martin's sitting on pit road with both his rear tires on the ground.
Oh, boy. And right rear tire is off. No tire over there on that side. Now the crew comes over there and tries to get a jack under it. But, Jerry, that's not easy to get a jack under it when there's no tire back there.
The car is totally on the ground, and they have the some of the Jasper engine crew, Ted Musgrave's crew. You've got Steve Mill and some of the Valvoline crew literally picking the car up. And now they picked the car up and put the tire back on. But one tire came from up on pit road, was about 40 to 50 feet in the air, came down, bounced in the grass, and is rolling back out toward turn one. So what a scuffle here in the pits on your caution.
Yeah, Jerry, that tire has been retrieved by one of the NASCAR officials, so it's okay. But boy, a bad break for Mark Martin. You talk about losing track position. And besides that, you got to wonder if there was damage done to the car.
Well, there's considerable damage because it has bent the quarter panel, and it looked to me like as he left pit road, it's a huge wing. I mean, a sail that's going to slow the car down considerably. Now here's the tire we're talking about. It's going across the racetrack. Now somebody's going to boot this tire. Ooh, it's Michael Waltrip, wasn't it? Or is that Cope? I guess it's Derek Cope.
Cope, yeah, there's Waltrip.
There's Mark Martin. He's pulled out, but his right rear fell off, so there he sits. Evidently, the lug wrench broke on the right rear, and is not able to tighten the lug nuts at all.
Well, look who is leading. Jeff Gordon.
Now, did he just take left side tires this time, or what did he do?
Again, he picks up several positions on pit road. Remember, last time he went from 16th to 2nd, I believe, and now he came in 7th position and has the lead as we get ready to go back to the green flag here at the Pepsi 400. We'll take another break and be right back. Elmo Langley in the Pontiac pace car has the field in tow here at the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. The caution is out, but we will go back green in one more lap, and Jeff Gordon will be the leader. Derek Cope comes in for a second stop. We will check on that and report. We're going to take another break before the green flag comes out so we can bring you as much racing action as possible. Stay with us. Field gets lined up for the restart. Jeff Gordon in the DuPont Chevrolet will be the leader when they come down here. He is 10th in Winston Cup points coming into this race. However, he is 7th when you look at only points accumulated on the super speedways. 4 of his top 5s have been on super speedways. The green flag comes out on lap 63. We're back to racing.
Got himself a little bit of a jump on Dale Earnhardt. A couple of car lengths.
I think that was planned by Earnhardt. He's going to get him a run and come off the second corner and go blowing right by her. That's the plan. Now, whether or not it's going to work out that way or not, I don't know.
Well, I don't know either. There you see Ken Schrader in 3rd place. Now you're in 4th. There is 5th there.
Now watch Earnhardt. Watch him as he come down this back straight. Watch this head of steam that he gets, Ned.
Yep.
Yeah,
you were right, Benny. He built up that head of steam.
Oh, yeah.
He's got it. So Gordon's lead doesn't last very long. In fact, here comes Schrader to 2nd, Irvin to 3rd, Jarrett to 4th, and who knows where Jeff Gordon's.
Wow, did he not change tires that time, or what did happen with Jeff Gordon? He got up front again. Jerry, what's the situation there with Gordon?
Well, we watched the cars come by. We're with Ray Evernham, and Ray, what was the strategy? What did you do? You just changed 2 that time?
Our car was a little bit tight. We're just not strong enough to stay up in that lead draft, so we've been gambling on tires, just trying to keep the thing out front. I think it's more important here to stay in that draft than it is our car just not wearing out tires. So I guess that gamble didn't pay off. We just lost a lot of spots, so we'll have to keep digging some other way.
And remember, guys, we did not change tires on the first stop, so those 2 right side tires you just got were the only tires he's had in the first 60-some laps of this race.
Well, Gordon is even in the shot right now as we have a great battle up front, as Ken Schrader is now inside of Earnhardt looking for the lead, and Schrader ought to take a provisional for every race, huh?
I'm telling you. And he led that lap.
There's a whole bunch of Chevys up front. Look at this, 3 wide. Jarrett to the inside.
Somebody back off.
Earnhardt must have eyes in the back of his head. How did he know there was no one on the inside of him? He had the racetrack to himself. He must have a great spotter, is all I can say.
And a great sense, too, of where things are.
Bobby Hillen is the blue car. Ben Rudd hooks up with Dale Jarrett now and goes to 3rd.
There we see Hillen right behind Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's Cornflakes car. And this is another Morgan McClure engine in that 14 car.
Running very strong now. He made a good pit stop. Apparently only changed 2 tires, so he came out up there with the leaders. That's Terry Labonte we're talking about. Morgan Shepherd was a big loser, fellas, on that pit stop. He came in running 6th and came out about 20th. So they must have made some big adjustments on the sit-go forward.
Is Helen the best Ford at this time? I believe so. Oh, Jarrett's going to get the lead.
Well, is he? Yeah, just barely slips up there. But here comes Ricky Rudd down on the inside. He wants to lead.
Was it a little bump there?
It looked like it. Schrader.
Another 3 abreast.
3 wide into 3.
Yep. Rudd backed off just a little bit. Another 3 abreast right, and look, the 3 abreast are on either side of Bobby Hillin. That's right, Bobby. Look right, look left. There's cars there.
Oh, be careful.
They had to get it down to double 5. Well, Dale Jarrett's going to get his 5 bonus points. He finally leads the lap.
Schrader second, Rudd third, Earnhardt is fourth.
Now they've got Earnhardt on the outside, and he just can't get any momentum going. Kind of like Kyle Petty at the beginning of the race. I've seen so far that Goodrich Chevrolet is the strongest car here today, but if they can keep him back there, it'll make much difference.
Sterling Marlin right there also in car number 8. Yeah, remember we talked about Sterling, or rather Derek Cope, who made a second pit stop. That was because he hit the tire on pit road and sent it bounding, and they had to tape the car up in the right front, right, John?
Yeah, you're exactly right. I talked with the crew. They think they've got that problem solved. They took a big sheet of tape and put it over where the tire had punched back, and it almost looked like a hole. Of course, it wasn't, but it would have caused air to grab on that right front. So they put a line of tape around it to make the air flow over it. They think that's going to be okay, but the only problem was they had to make those repairs when the 1 to go was given. So Derek at the tail end of the field is trying desperately right now to catch up with the lead pack, because as we know, running out there by himself, it won't take long before that lead pack finally comes around and puts him a lap down.
Yeah, he's totally out of the draft now. It's going to be tough to keep up.
And here is the Waltrip brothers. Darrell in front, the older brother, the younger brother, Michael, the yellow number 30 Pennzoil Pontiac, trying to hook up and get to the front.
Now Dale Earnhardt and Ernie Irvin have gotten in single file. They ran side by side there a lap or so and about to lose the draft of the front runners, so they've hooked up together trying to catch them back. Darrell Waltrip caught down on the inside there now.
In the recent laps, Darrell Waltrip, who started in 8th position, he was 22nd on the 35th lap. He was back as far as 32nd at one time, but now is right up there, and Schrader takes the lead and goes from last to first.
And Earnhardt is trying to get by Rudd, and there's a little bump back there.
Well, they bumped the other time. They were in reverse position. This time they bump again. Rudd was on the inside the other time. Earnhardt on the inside this time. 5 Chevrolets up there battling it out. The 6th place car, Sterling Marlin, is the first Ford. As Earnhardt and Rudd will hook up together and go by Jarrett.
Man, the 3 car is strong today.
Yep.
Kind of looks like Talladega all over again, the Western 500. And here he goes for the lead. Down in turn 1, Earnhardt on the inside takes the lead with ease.
Oh, he makes it look so easy. Let's see if Rudd can get second now from his teammate Schrader. Yes, he does.
Waltrip is still hung on the inside.
Yeah.
We've got a lot of cars in this lead draft now. They've been separated in most of the other restarts, but this time, I guess, adjustments on a lot of the cars and more of them competitive.
Well, there is Jeff Gordon, who dropped back to about 12th position, I believe, after leading at the green flag.
You see Mark Martin right behind the Greg Sachs car, the Country Time car, so he's able to keep the Valvoline Ford at least in contention.
Let's also mention Rick Wilson, who's turning in a good run in the Richard Petty STP Pontiac.
As I mentioned, Morgan Shepherd had dropped back to about 20th. Look at him. He's coming back up through there again now. His car is strong. He's not in that group right there, but he's right there past Dale Jarrett on the outside. So Morgan came back up from 20th position in a hurry to the top 10.
Dale Jarrett and Ed's on the inside. Can't do a thing down there.
Yep, they're just the trains going by on the outside as they ride with Morgan Shepherd there.
And as John Kernan talks about him, John.
You were talking about what a big loser he was on pit road. They made a major chassis adjustment to loosen that car up, 3 rounds of wedge out, but apparently they made the right adjustment because, as you said, it hasn't taken him that long to work his way back up toward the front.
I figured out why Terry Labonte made the announcement plans at Sears Point, and Rudd announced his plans in Michigan, and both those guys ended up winning the race. So Terry perhaps thought he would do it here and pull off a victory. But right now he is running back in the ninth spot.
Look at Morgan still trying to use that high line. That will work in about 15-20 laps, and these tires get hot and the cars start really slipping and sliding.
Exactly. They made a chassis adjustment on a lot of these cars. We noted when Dale Jarrett made his pit stop that they made an adjustment on it. I wonder if it was the right way, because he jumped to the lead, but he's certainly going backwards now.
By the way, the 7 car, the family channel Ford, is out on the racetrack, and Jeff Bodine is the driver of it. Jimmy Hensley, who crashed the car earlier, is taken the day off, and he's turned the driving chores over to Jeff Bodine. Morgan Shepherd trying to pass Terry Labonte up high in turn number 3. We'll be back with more action from Daytona in a moment. As you rejoin us here at Daytona, there was a great side-by-side battle for the lead as they come to the line to complete lap 75. Rudd is inside, Earnhardt is outside, and Irvin is right behind Rudd, but now Ricky will fall in behind Dale.
He got up beside him coming off of turn 2. Thought he had a run on him down the backstretch, but just couldn't quite make it.
And what happened was that allowed the rest of the field. Sterling Marlin had fallen back in 5th spot to 15-20 car lengths behind, but you can see right now he's closed up right on the back bumper of Kenny Schrader. So that's what happened when those two guys ran side by side. It allowed this group of cars to catch up. There was Morgan Shepherd by Michael Walter.
And it looks like the inside groove is working right now, Benny, better than some of them had used that high groove. Morgan Shepherd had been one of those. But look at DW down there. He is coming up on the inside. Here's Rudd trying to go on the inside again to try to take the lead as they come to the stripe. And I believe Rudd will lead this lap. Yep, he did by about 4 feet.
Yep.
But Darrell Waltrip has found new life down on the inside as well. And has moved up through the pack some.
Right now, Rudd just now. Ooh! Ernie had to back off the gas to keep him running the back of Rudd, and we can see what happens when you back off. The momentum you lose, and around him they go.
Yeah, he's lucky he didn't get hit and spun.
Well, he lose 5 positions there in a matter of feet.
And all he did was back off because Rudd got in the corner, had to get off the gas, caused Ernie to get off the gas, and man, did he lose some spots.
Look at Michael Waltrip. He's doing pretty good. Here it is again. Now watch Rudd get off the gas. And Ernie slam on the brakes, and everybody go around him.
Schrader was wide awake right there to make that move. He didn't back off. He just guided her up on the high side of the track and went right on around.
Back to live action. We still got Earnhardt leading. Ricky Rudd is in second. We can see Irvin back now about 6th spot.
Running with Michael Waltrip and Darrell Waltrip, who's right behind him.
He's actually in 7th spot.
There's Darrell. Western Auto Chevrolet. Right behind him is Rick Wilson.
Rick having a good run here in the King's car. Richard Petty's SDP Pontiac. Here comes Ted Musgrave down on the inside in the Jasper Engine US Air Ford. He too is running good.
He and Greg Sachs trying to hook up, get a draft going to pull by Jeff Gordon, Rick Wilson.
Little Ford companionship there.
Looks that way. Darrell Walter pulled down right in front of Musgrave, so that ought to help Ted as he tries to get through these. This is from inside. Rick Wilson must have got out of shape up there, and man, we almost had a crash.
Really did.
Jeff had to Gordon had to really climb on the brakes and then make a hard left to get around Rick.
And folks, when we ooh and ah and what have you, I mean, these guys run 190 miles an hour, and all of a sudden, boom, they stop in front of you. You know what it's like when they stop in front of you at 20 miles an hour.
Here it is again. Now watch Wilson.
He got the corner, got a little bit loose, had to get off the gas, and Jeff Gordon, if he didn't hit him, I think that's my finger between those two cars.
That's a second near miss for Jeff today. He was almost involved in that first lap crash we had with Jimmy Hensley. Next time by, they'll get the halfway mark. Cross flags indicating that half the race has been completed. There's the leader, Dale Earnhardt. And Ken Schrader. This is the 12th of 15 races that he has led this year. He is 10th in super speedway points.
And he is the leader at the halfway point, Dale Earnhardt. Pay $10,000 for that.
And remember, they used to pay a halfway bonus for the driver leading the point standings at that time. They don't do that anymore. Here's Terry Labonte, Ernie Irvan, and Darrell Walters. We go pit side again, and Jerry Punch.
Well, you got Kellogg's, Kodak, and Western Auto, all three Chevrolets, and they also have all three have something else in common. All three of them have Runt Pittman engines in. That is Ernie Irvan's engine builder, who sold 3 other engines for this race, when you include Jeff Purvis. But all 3 of those cars, Terry Labonte, Ernie Irvan, and Darrell Waltrip, have Sheldon Runt Pittman motors, awfully strong motors, and awfully even engines here at Daytona.
Yes, indeed. Ted Musgrave, however, looks to the inside of Waltrip and passes him right at the start-finish line. So Ted Musgrave moves up a position. So we are just past the halfway mark of the Pepsi 400. It's been mostly Dale Earnhardt in the first half. Back with more live action after this. Here at Daytona, 84 laps are completed in the Pepsi 400. It is Dale Earnhardt leading Ricky Rudd. Is he losing the head a little bit on this car, Jerry?
I think so. Just from being here in the pits and watching Richard Childress, the car owner, stopwatch a couple laps ago, Earnhardt was running laps at 47.50 seconds, 47.5 seconds. Last time by was 48.75, so over a second and 2/10 slower. The car obviously beginning to get a little bit loose, but the good news for Earnhardt is he's still out front.
But now we're beginning to see a Ford challenge. It has been pretty much Chevrolets all afternoon, but now the first 2 are Chevys.
They've just been sort of grinding away, Bob, and Shepard has made the biggest move since the last pit stop. As we mentioned earlier, he came out of the pits in about 20th position after making a major chassis adjustment on the car, but it seems to be working for him. He's back up on the high groove again. Here he comes off to turn 2 with a pretty good run, but couldn't make a pass then, but he's strong.
Sterling Marlin. He was definitely one of our sleepers, but he was asleep yet, so we couldn't find him for the shot.
5 cars behind the leader have never won here at Daytona.
Ooh, Morgan's going by on the outside.
Oh, they get together.
Oh, man.
You think Sterling didn't think back about the Daytona 500?
No kidding. Wondering where Kyle Petty was. Oh, no, that was Billy.
Sterling's back in the 500, got off the ground, and the whole car closed.
Yeah, came flying through the air right here in the tri-oval.
He came back down on 4 tires. He finished about 8th and 9th.
Yeah, finished in 8th position.
Here's the Western Auto race summary. Earnhardt led 65 of the first 85 laps. 23 cars on the lead lap. 9 leaders, 17 lead changes. 3 cautions for 11 laps. The average speed 152.33 miles an hour. Those that have led a lap and picked up 5 bonus points: Earnhardt, Cope, Irvan, Jarrett, Gordon, Schrader, Kyle Petty, Dave Marcus, and Ricky Rudd. Out of the race, most of them because of accidents, although Dallenbach and Means and Bodine all experienced mechanical problems.
But there's a couple of other drivers, Bob, that you saw pretty far down in the rundown. Bill Elliott had an unscheduled pit stop for apparently got into the wall a little bit and they thought the tire was rubbing, and he went a lap down there pretty early. Kyle Petty has gone a couple of laps down. The handle just went away on the mellow yellow Pontiac.
And he was in that first crash over that big crash off turn 2. Yeah. Davey Allison's car just quit. He's riding along on the racetrack, and the car just quit. He coasted in, spent a couple of laps, and he's back on the track.
Dale Earnhardt continuing to add to his total. He is the leader among active drivers in laps led at Daytona, 861 in 31 career starts. Here is Waltrip, Labonte, and Musgrave still running very close together.
All of a sudden, Labonte must, his chassis must be working pretty well, because Waltrip and Musgrave was quite a distance ahead of him, and I see he's sandwiched between them now. So
Kenny Wallace goes another lap down as Earnhardt and Schrader pass by on the high side of the racetrack.
And there's Derek Cope getting lapped. Remember, he's the guy who hit the tire on pit road, made that late pit stop on the caution flag. He suffered for it. Now he's a lap down.
Didn't have the benefit of drafting the other cars when he got back out on the track.
The Ray Bestis car up on top, also lapping Derek Cope. And of course, driven by Sterling Marlin. And Loy Allen goes another lap down at number 37. Dr. Jerry Punch has some information on Marlin's run.
I don't know if you believe in momentum or not in racing. I believe it happens in a lot of sports, and I've got to believe it happens here. Remember Pocono? Sterling Marlin, Billy, and Mickey Stavola told me, we're coming. We're going to come today. I said, you guys are starting back in 32nd spot. They came on and finished a strong 8th. Went to Michigan, started back in 12th spot, had a good run all day, finished 8th. They started 22nd today, and before the race, they came and told me the same thing. Hey, guys, we're going to come, and we're going to come in a hurry. I got to believe these guys from now on. They're pretty true to their word.
Yeah, they sure are. They're up in 3rd position now, just past the halfway point.
Just saw Richard Petty going down, heading for pit road.
Sterling Marlin started 22nd. 3rd, where he is currently running, has been his highest. He's been as low as his starting position of 22nd.
Here's Schrader right on the back of Earnhardt. And Marlin, we see the red dots on the front of Marlin's car. That's tape on the front of that car. So
I thought they were fog lights, Benny.
He had some fog this morning. He's going to need it if they tried to run the race. But look how the groove has moved to the top of the racetrack, Ned.
Yeah.
As the fellows start fighting this loose condition, they're all on top of the racetrack now.
It is not as sunny as it was when the race began. The clouds are beginning to move in. They do in the early to mid part of the afternoon this time of year here in Florida, and it rains a lot in the late afternoon, but rain is not imminent right now.
This is from Morgan Shepherd, Sitco Ford, looking back on Ricky Rudd's Tide Chevrolet, the winner of last week's last race at Michigan. Trying to run the bottom of the racetrack. Morgan's still trying to run the top of the racetrack. See, both of them seem to be succeeding about evenly. Off the pace. It's nuts. Trying to break the draft, but Schrader dove to the outside. Trying to break the draft, didn't expect Schrader to be going on the outside like that.
But he did, and Schrader is going to lead this lap, I believe. Yep.
Earnhardt comes back on the inside. Ooh, those are close together.
Now Sterling Marlin is going to try to take the lead. He's going to follow Earnhardt. Now he's hung on the inside. If he can get a run down there, he might take the lead. Can he make it stick on the bottom of the racetrack? Now he can squeeze up. Spotter, tell him, Jerry Punch, what's going on with these guys?
You don't think there's teamwork even among separate teams here in Winston Cup racing? What happened about 2 laps ago? Rick Hendrick came up and spoke with Richard Childress and said, hey, we really would like to lead a lap. And Childress said, well, it's not mine, but I'll talk to my driver. So they both got on the headsets of their drivers, and what you saw a minute ago was Dale Earnhardt back out. Schrader led a lap, got his 5 bonus points, and Earnhardt heads back out front.
Okay. Can you imagine that?
Well, that's good.
Scared me. I thought Earnhardt had blown up.
Competitive on the racetrack, but once in a while you'll give the other guy a break, as Earnhardt did with Ken Schrader just then. Earnhardt 7th, or rather Schrader 7th in the points, 350 behind Dale Earnhardt, so he only gave him 5. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, here's the view from high above Daytona International Speedway from the airship Shamu. When not on tour, the blimp assists scientists studying endangered manatees and other marine animals along the Florida coast. But today, providing us some great overhead shots of the Pepsi 400 here at Daytona. There are your first three. Now make it 4 cars. Earnhardt, Ken Schrader, Sterling Marlin running a very solid third, and then Ricky Rudd.
Fifth place car now is Darrell Waltrip.
Okay, well, Waltrip is his car working well on the bottom, probably as well as anybody's car right now. The loser of the last few laps has been Morgan Shepherd. His car seemed to be going away just a little bit.
Well, yeah, several cars passed him, but now Dale Jarrett was one of them, and now Dale just came up, or Morgan just came up and passed Dale back. So he might have found a different groove. Jarrett was about 5 seconds behind Earnhardt at one time. We talked about him dropping back. Now he moved it back to about 1.6 seconds, but now he's lost back a little bit again.
And back, we got to run for the lead. They're 3 abreast.
Come on, guys. Don't know if that'll work off of turn 4 or not.
Oh, man.
Earnhardt just hung right up there on that outside.
Rudd is going to follow Sterling Marlin, and he does. They go by.
Kicking Schrader back to 4th.
I don't think Rick Henry's going to like that too good.
Look at DW coming down on the inside of Schrader. That guy's going to lead this race.
And watch Sterling Marlin. Watch him as he tries to take the lead. He is going to take the Earnhardt is really struggling right now. He needs a caution flag.
Sterling Marlin has taken the lead of the Pepsi 400, and now Ricky Rudd will come to the inside of Dale Earnhardt and try to get second place.
Some clouds.
Earnhardt battles back. Yeah, the clouds are beginning to move in a little bit more, blocking the sun and making it a little different in terms of racetrack setup.
And Rudd slides up right in front of Darrell Waltrip. And Schrader, who was running second just a moment ago, is back to 5th right now. He's battling for 5th with Darrell Waltrip.
Waltrip is battling for 4th, actually. Waltrip trying to take over that 4th position.
I lost count for a minute.
Well, they've been switching so often here the last few laps.
Talk about me not being able to count. There's Ernie Irvin, who has reasserted himself along with Ted Musgrave.
Yeah, down on that inside. I think the inside groove is the place to be right now.
Yeah.
It is the place to be because we saw Sterling Marlin run on the bottom of the racetrack, take the lead from Earnhardt, who's struggling up on top.
Ernie Irvin passing Ken Schrader. Irvin going for $68,400 in Unocal bonus money. That hasn't been won since Bristol earlier in the year. And Ernie Irvin is the driver eligible for it, having been the pole sitter. And now Ricky Rudd is on the low side down here in the tri-oval.
Not able to get by Earnhardt as they come off the tri-oval, but look, we don't see Sterling Marlin anyplace. He's pulled out to about a second lead on these guys.
Yeah, he's just driving away.
59 laps to go. That completed lap 101. Ricky Rudd again tries to take over second from Earnhardt and does this time on the low side.
And we can see just how much Earnhardt is struggling in the corner. Rudd able to pass him in the corner.
Here is Morgan Shepherd up on the top side while Musgrave and Jarrett are below, but now here is Ernie Irvin moving around Dale Earnhardt.
They're slipping and sliding all over the place. A lot of passing going on. Actually, Shepherd, Jarrett, and Musgrave went into turn 3 abreast. Jarrett was in the middle. He decided that wasn't smart, so he backed out of it. Now he's going to try to take Musgrave back on the outside, but Musgrave has really been going good on the low side here in turns 1 and 2.
As Larry Rice on Saturday Night Thunder would say, slip and slide, dip and dive. They're all over the place.
Irvin trying to make a move on Earnhardt down on the inside.
Light field summary for you.
We can see Irvin, Darrell Waltrip trying to get by. Here's Musgrave going by Morgan Shepherd on the inside.
tell you, some of these guys are anxious for pit stops. We're not too far away from pit stops, probably 6-8 laps or something. And then they can go the rest of the way on fuel. They've run about 45 laps, I guess, since they made a pit stop. So they can still go with probably another 10 laps. But whether they want to go that long or not, I don't know. They'd like to have some new tires on those cars.
Probably noticed on the rundown there, Rusty Wallace, who is third in the Winston Cup points, 269 behind leader Earnhardt, running in 20th position. So before we have these pit stops coming up, we'll pause for some more messages from Daytona International. Boy, it's tough to come down here in July, isn't it? To the world's most famous beach, Daytona Beach, Florida. We have had some excellent weather. The nights have been cool, the days have been warm but not exceedingly warm, and today we have just about that kind of condition. It's humid, it is pleasantly warm but not too bad, and a great race on the track as Sterling Marlin leads, but now Rudd is within a couple of car lengths.
It's pleasantly warm. Jenkins, you're sitting up here in air conditioning, you're sitting at pleasantly warm. These guys are down there dying at 150 degrees.
That's their problem. There's the interval leaderboard. You see only about a half a second separates first and second, and a little over 2 seconds separates the top 5. So it's very, very competitive. Jerry, how's the temperature down there on pit road?
Pleasantly warm, Bob. I tell you, it's a pleasant 112 degrees here in the pits. It's got to be about 145 to 150 in the race cars. The ambient temperature is about 95. The humidity is about 97. But here off the asphalt, it's about 112 at latest calculation in the pits, and that's pleasantly doggone hot.
But seriously, there isn't the bright sunshine beating down on you as we have had the last couple of days. There is somewhat of a cloud cover most of the time, isn't there?
Right, the last few minutes the clouds have moved over, and it's actually helped some of the cars on the racetrack with their handling situation. Other guys realizing that the sun's going to come back out. There's only scattered clouds today. As the clouds move back away, the sun comes back out. You see some of the cars making a move, like Ted Musgrave right here in the Jasper Engines cars. He makes a move. Most of the leaders, though, are only about 3 laps away from pit stops.
What is that, 5th or 6th, I believe? Musgrave moves around Ken Schrader, doing a fine job, and John Kernan has more.
Jerry talked about heat down here on pit road. Yeah, it's really hot down here, but it has cooled off momentarily with the cloud cover. However, yesterday in Darrell Waltrip's car, a Sharpie, one of those little fine point magic markers that you see the driver sign autographs with, fell out of Darrell's pocket, sat on the floorboard. When he came back in from just about 5 laps of practice, the Sharpie had melted. That's just how hot it gets there, melted the plastic case.
I'll be darned. Good story. Of course, those are also what John Kernan uses for signing autographs.
And our first round of pit stops, our first cars on pit road, Terry Labonte, the Kellogg's Cornflakes car, going down pit road. So evidently he wants to get his chassis adjusted, new tires, because he can go the rest of the way. We see Kyle Petty.
What's his deal now?
Well, he's just coming awfully slow there. What's the problem with Kyle, Jerry?
Well, Kyle apparently is sick in the race car. They knocked some of the panels out from that incident earlier on pit road, so he has come down pit road and is asking for a relief driver. They were trying to find someone to put in the car. The heat and probably the carbon monoxide have gotten to Kyle Petty. He came very, very slowly down pit road. As yet, they have not found anyone to go in the mellow yellow car as he has gotten his terms in the way, but we are waiting for the leader to make an entry, and here he comes down pit road.
Now here comes Marlin, Rudd, Irvin, Earnhardt, Musgrave, Schrader, and Jared. John.
Sterling Marlin just pulls into his pit. It will be a 2-tire change. Ken Wilson said they didn't expect to make any chassis adjustment. The car had been running really well. Right side's going on. Second can of gasoline, waiting. First one going in. They're having a little bit of a problem getting the fuel. Now it's finally filled, and Sterling is down and away. A 2-tire change.
And Earnhardt's changing 4 tires. Meanwhile, Rudd is back on the racetrack. It's Ricky Rudd, Sterling Marlin, Ken Schrader. And the next car, Ernie Irvin, followed by Dale Earnhardt. Now we got a tire right in the middle of the track. Earnhardt just barely missing. This may bring out the caution flag. Would you go out and get that tire, Bob?
No.
I don't think so either. This could bring out the caution flag. So Darrell Waltrip, people like that.
Well, no, Darrell's coming down pit road right now. He and Morgan Shepherd.
It's in the grass.
Bobby Hillen.
Yeah, I know it's in the track. It's in the grass, about 50 feet where these cars running 200 miles an hour.
just in for what should be his last pit stop.
Darrell Waltrip getting service on his car. Jerry, you there?
And they have changed right side tires. Now Barry Dodson and the crew come around on the left side of the Darrell Waltrip car. The former Daytona 500 winner puts the car back in gear. Left side lug nuts going on. They have cleaned the windshield, and he is down.
Now Mark Martin remains on pit road. Davey Allison is also on pit road, and the hood is up on that car. Meanwhile, back out on the racetrack, they're just the way they were, with Marlin leading and Ricky Rudd second.
Well, Ricky Rudd left the pits in front, but Marlin evidently passed him on the back straightaway.
And Davey Allison's Hamilton Ford still has the hood up. And a good pit stop by Dale Earnhardt. Did he take 4, Jerry?
Yes, he took 4 tires, Bob, but actually he had no choice to take 4 tires. The left side of the car has a tire mark from the driver's door, all the way up to the left front fender. In fact, the left front tire had white paint all the way around it. The tire was scraped, the wheel even was scraped, so apparently Dale got together with someone. They just couldn't take a chance. They had to change all 4.
So it's Dale and Dale running together on the racetrack again as Earnhardt and Jarrett have found each other.
And they're almost 9 seconds behind the leader right now. Of course, Jarrett, Ernie Irvan, Earnhardt, they all took on 4 tires, and the others just took on 2. So they got out of the pits a lot quicker. It'll be interesting to see after they run a while, if there's no caution, if those 2 fresher tires will help.
Some guy is going out. No, come on, man, get away from that tire down there.
Meanwhile, as we watch the action on the racetrack, we will tell you that it is a power steering problem on Davey Allison's car that they're working on.
Some guy, look, he is getting that tire.
NASCAR official, isn't it?
Yep. And so it's safely back behind the pit wall. 113 laps completed in the Pepsi 400 at Daytona.
There's our leader, Sterling Marlin, their bestest Ford, followed closely by Ricky Rudd, the Ty Chevrolet, and have no trouble getting by Michael Waltrip from the Pennzoil Pontiac.
There are the intervals between the first 5 with 0.22 of a second. 9.3 seconds separate the top 5. John, what big story do you have from pit road this time?
Well, I tell you what, our leader is not going to be able to finish this race. Remember I said that they were waiting for the gasoline and they had that second can ready? Well, I thought they got it filled. No, they only got a half a can of gas into that race car. They're figuring out right now how long Sterling can stay out there, but it can't be for much longer. What happened, the overflow, the way they've got it set up to relieve the catch can man of his duties there so he can be around to help with tire placement on the pit stops for faster pit stops. The overflow moves in and out, which opens, if you pull it out, it opens the flow of oxygen through and allows the gas to come in. They forgot to pull it out until very, very late, and instead of sitting here on pit road and waiting for another 12, 14 seconds to fill the car up with gas, Sterling took off. So he's going to very, very shortly. What they want right now, they desperately need a caution.
That's unbelievable.
Yep. Unfortunate.
That's hard to believe.
Here's another Autolite field summary for you.
And we can see just how strong Sterling Marlin's car is. Ricky Rudd, he was able to get by Michael Waltrip. Rudd not able to get by. Harry Gantz right behind Rudd. And look at Ricky go to the top of the racetrack. So starting to lose the handle already, looks like.
19 cars are on the lead lap as the 20th place car, Michael Waltrip, as you can see, has just been lapped. And the record is 19 cars on the lead lap in a 400-mile event. Leader Sterling Marlin, his best finish this year and only top 10 finish was at Charlotte, 8th.
Didn't he finish 8th in the Daytona 500? I thought he did, but we'll check that out.
Here's the pit stop.
See the gas man back there. They finally figure they can't wait anymore, and down he goes, and away he goes. But they have changed the vent system on these cars, as John Kernan pointed out, that the vent, you've got to pull it out so that it will relieve the air pressure inside the fuel cell, and someone just forgot simply to pull it out. Here's a race for the third spot, fourth spot. Earnhardt takes over fourth, Morgan Shepherd.
You're right, Sterling Marlin was 9th in the Daytona 500.
Morgan was running, came out of the pits ahead of this group of Chevrolet, so Earnhardt, Irvin and Jarrett, but now they've run him down, and Ted Musgrave right in that groove there as well.
And Kyle Petty back in 33rd position. Jerry, an update.
Oh, Kyle Petty actually has pulled the car behind the wall. Kyle is lying on his back behind pit wall here. They have some emergency medical technician attending to him and a doctor here. Kyle has been overcome with carbon monoxide as well as the heat in the car. Remember, we talked about some of the panels being knocked out of the car. The car actually is okay to race. Robin Pemberton and the crew running around trying to find someone to put in the car as one car is slowing in the back straightaway. So Kyle Petty is lying here on the ground, overcome with carbon monoxide, and a tough break for him. Remember, they're 4th in the Winston Cup point standings. They're trying to, nothing they can do right now. Their driver is just barely awake, but he's getting better moment by moment.
And it's his cousin, right, Richie, that's slow on the backstretch.
Look at that 55 car, Ted Musgrave. He had the same problem as Charlotte and the yellow flag is out.
It's because of Richie Petty. He has stopped the car, didn't make it all the way around, and so this is going to be a big break for Sterling Marlin. Here comes Earnhardt down to take the caution flag.
Well, it would be a bad break for Ricky Rudd then, because Ricky was in position to go the rest of the race.
Yeah.
And now everybody's going to catch up to him.
Ricky Rudd and Ken Schrader could battle it out, and we see Richie Petty's car has stopped on the grass.
4th caution of the afternoon. It comes on the 122nd lap. Now we go inside the Citgo Ford and ride around with Morgan Shepherd as he catches up to the pace car.
Now then, how many of the leaders, they can go the rest of the way? Earnhardt, Rudd, Schrader. Are they going to stop Ned?
I think they will.
You think so, huh?
I think they'll come in and put on 4 fresh tires.
Okay, I'm glad I asked you, because that way I don't have to sound so stupid.
Okay.
Benny, what do you think?
I don't have a clue what they're going to do.
I just passed an opinion. We'll see, though.
I think you're right. I think they will stop, because fresh tires right now, we can see it's critical. And that will really give an advantage to Marlin, because if he's the only one that stops, then he would be back about 15th or so.
Yep.
Now, there's 19 cars on the lead lap, so if he were the only one, he would go back to 19th.
Field is.
We know he's going to stop.
Yeah, right. We guarantee he's going to stop. And I bet you the first thing you do is pull the gas bin out. Don't you guess?
I would think they need to get it. Oh, they won't take quite a full tank from here on.
Speed limit on pit road, by the way, is 65 miles an hour. Here comes Marlin and Rudd and the others.
Now, you're right, Ned. The whole crowd is, everyone of them's coming down pit road.
Michael Waltrip, Harry Gant, and Jeff Bodine, who's in the Jimmy Hensley car, stay out there. Here's John.
Sterling Marlin pulls in. They will have the catch can, man. He's now playing with that vent on that. He finally gets that. The gas is going in. They will take on only left side. Remember last pit stop, they took only right side. The gas is flowing in. First can in, second can. They're waiting as Sterling sits on pit road. Waiting. Brett Bodine is heading down pit road. Other cars. Let's go down to Jerry Punch.
Great pit stop here for the Tide Chevrolet crew as they are changing left side tires. Left side tires for Ricky Rudd crews. He is down and away. Good pit stop for Ricky Rudd, the most recent winner in Winston Cup racing.
Dale Jarrett also completes his service, but it was
They had pit stop. They had some kind of problem with the right side. They had a long time getting around to the left side, so he lost a lot of positions in that stop.
a 26-second pit stop or so.
So our pole setter, Ernie Irvin, wins the race off pit road. He was the first car out.
122 laps completed out of 160 in the Pepsi 400. We'll be back in just a moment. Despite the heat and humidity here at Daytona International Speedway, the crowd is very enthusiastic as they sit through the final few laps of the Pepsi 400. 124 completed out of 160. We are under caution, allowing people to get up and stretch their legs and give us a wave.
Man, And everybody in the crowd, everybody in the grandstand waving.
There's a view from overhead of the crowd gathered here today. There is Dale Jarrett, who is going for his second win here at Daytona this year. He, of course, won the Daytona 500 by STP. How many times has that happened? Well, 4. Bobby Allison won both races in 1982, Leroy Yarborough in 69, Cale Yarborough in 68, and Fireball Roberts won the Daytona doubles in 1962.
See if you think there's a misspelling on those Yarboroughs and Yarboroughs.
No,
that's not. That is the way it's spelled. And Mark Martin in the Valvoline Ford has stayed on the racetrack. He's now the leader of the Pepsi 400. And Ned, is that good strategy?
Well, one thing he did do is get him 5 bonus points for leading the race. That's for sure. Now I don't know if, you know, I guess he figures he got enough gas to go, and maybe he just stay up there and do the best he can.
Well, John Kernan has a report on some strategy that's being talked about among the Ford drivers.
Well, what's going to happen? Ted Musgrave and Sterling Marlin are going to team up and try and stay together to draft their way toward the front. Then with 2 laps to go, it's anybody's race. Watch and see if they work as a team up to that point, though.
Green flag is back down. It is Mark Martin, Ernie Irvan, Jeff Gordon, Ted Musgrave, and Sterling Marlin as we're back to green.
They'll team up as long as it's an advantage to them. When it's not, that goes out the window.
Yeah. And guys, we got, for the first time today on the restart, we got some good lap cars that are up there among the group, although they're dropping back here. There are 3 abreast back in there. Michael Walker goes by Phil Parsons.
Everybody's trying to get around Phil. He's right in the middle of the racetrack, and man, is it a mess.
This is by far the most traffic we have seen all day, even including the start of the race.
This is the hold your breath time because the drivers are getting a little anxious now. The laps are winding down. They're running together in a bunch. Let's hope they keep it clean here.
It's Morgan Shepherd's car inside Morgan Sitco Ford, looking back at Darrell Waltrip and the Chevrolet.
Morgan is 8th. Darrell is 9th.
And Sterling Marlin is going. It's 3 abreast over there. He's trying to go by Jeff Gordon. Schrader takes the inside.
And look at Earnhardt coming down on the inside, making it 3 abreast as they go down the backstretch. Ricky Rudd following him. Getting tight in there, fellas.
Man, oh man, Sterling Marlin really lost how many spots? 3 or 4 spots in that one maneuver up in turns 1 and 2.
And that strategy
that's for the lead.
Musgrave didn't work. Here is Ernie Irvan going for the lead and getting it off the 4th corner as Schrader tries to get into 2nd position. Earnhardt is looking for a way around both of them, though. Here he is moving alongside Schrader, taking 2nd position, now setting his sights on Ernie Irvan.
33 laps to go. We have seen Earnhardt's car falter in the stretch after a few laps. Is 33 too many? Probably not. Here, Morgan Shepherd. Watch him as he go by Morgan. The high groove is definitely not the place to be right now.
Look at Waltrip down there.
Well, Dale Jarrett's way up there in the high groove. It's not the place to be.
And there's Greg Sachs on the outside. And here's the lead. Earnhardt has taken the lead. Schrader comes with him. Ernie Irvan back to 3rd.
Boy, is there a lot of traffic.
See Rick and Morgan Shepherd all the way back past the STP Ford of Rick Wilson. So he went from about 4th, 5th back to about 12th to 15th. Now he goes back. There's Hillen trying to get by Rick Wilson.
Up front, it is Earnhardt, Schrader, Irvan, and Rudd. And then Martin.
And Sterling Marlin back in 6th spot. Jeff Gordon 7th.
8th is Musgrave. 9th is Terry Mahoney. And 10th is Dale Jarrett. 11th, Darrell Waltrip.
Now they're all trying to figure out where is the place to be. Where is the place to be? Sterling Marlin going by Mark Martin on the outside. He can just get by. Now Rudd moves over, but Sterling Marlin is safely by, and Mark is hung on the inside. Looks like the train's going by.
No drafting partners there. Now he comes up on Jeff Gordon, but coming off the turn, he's not going to have a drafting partner as Gordon's going to go wide.
Our congratulations to Ken Wilson, who's been named the chief of the Western Auto Mechanic of the Race. He, of course, works for Sterling Marlin.
He is crew chief, team manager,
Engine builder.
Engine builder, all rolled in one.
Jack of all trades.
For the Stavola brothers.
He's a good one.
Schrader looks like he'd like to find the lead here.
He's going for it. And here comes Ernie Irvin, our pole sitter. Earnhardt doesn't want it to happen. I don't know if he's going to have any say about this.
Have a whole lot to say. Let's see if Schrader can stick down on the inside. He's got his foot in the accelerator. You can rest assured. Earnhardt goes high. Schrader keeps her down low, but Earnhardt's going to have the momentum coming off the turn. But Schrader's going to have the drafting ability of the 4-car of Ernie Irvin, it looks like.
And again, we remind you that Ken Schrader started this race 41st. He was found with an illegal carburetor on the car after Thursday's qualifying. In second round qualifying yesterday, he simply could not get the car fast enough to make the field. He had to take a provisional. And here he is with a half car length advantage leading Dale Earnhardt.
Meanwhile, they're going to start jamming up behind them, 2 abreast behind them.
That's exactly what's going to happen as they race side by side up there. It slows them down, so everybody behind is looking for places to go. Here comes Rudd down on the inside with Marlin following him through. They've been a good combination today.
And you can see how it is cloudy in some places on this racetrack. It is here in the main straightaway. They go through periods of or areas of sunshine, but for the most part, a cloud cover is over the track again.
Now Rudd moves down to help out
Sterling
Marlin. Now, why on earth did he do that when he's got his teammate behind him?
Well, I don't know. I think that he realizes that he and Sterling have worked good together in the past, and so it's time now to pick out your best dancing partner and try to go with him.
Well, now he's back up in the outside lane.
And there goes Schrader back on the outside, trying to take second spot away from Rudd. And Sterling Marlin, he's hung in there somewhere. I see him bobbing around. Here he comes.
He's bobbing around, okay.
Man.
He's got Dale Jarrett on his number. Dale's going to back off. He didn't have room to go in there going into turn 3. You know, to give Dale Jarrett's crew some credit, I said they had a bad pit stop. I think they made a major chassis adjustment on the right front of that car, and that's
Maybe
why
it was
they were in
worth
the
it,
pits as long as they were. And, I don't know. Right now, he's going
We got Ted Musgrave hung on the inside, and Dale Jarrett. There's Jarrett, the Interstate battery car,
and Labonte.
see the momentum that Labonte had coming off the turn, just drove right on by on the outside.
Making it 3 wide down the back stretches. Bobby Hillen, and Rick Wilson is with him.
Well, beginning to flex the muscles of the Holly Myers Ford.
Meanwhile, Musgrave and Mark Martin still side by side.
Well, things settling down here a little bit as everybody takes his position for the final few laps. It is Earnhardt still out front over Ken Schrader. We're under caution here at Daytona because of debris on the racetrack. And now the question is, will they make a pit stop? And probably not, huh, guys?
I wouldn't think so.
Some of them will.
Yep.
Elmo
Maybe not the
Langley.
leaders.
Elmo is driving the pace car. He's leading the field. He was in Fastmasters last week with Benny.
I passed Elmo last week.
Well,
You know, nobody ever gets to pass Elmo.
One of the few you passed last week, I'll tell you that, except the back end of your car when you spun. Now, there will be no Fastmasters tonight on Saturday Night Thunder, but there will be a Saturday Night Thunder, and they'll not be at Indianapolis Raceway Park this week. Instead, at the High Bank Winchester Indiana Speedway for the USAC Midgets. It's a 2-hour show tonight from 9 until 11 Eastern Time, 6 to 8 on the Pacific Coast. A couple of guys came in for pit stops, including Morgan Shepherd and Rick Mast and Brett Bodine.
Those guys at the very end of the lead lap. They're on the lead lap at the very end of the line, so they came in, get 4 fresh tires, make whatever adjustments they need, to try to make a run to the front.
Nothing to lose, so they come in for perhaps their last. Looking back onto the field as they line up for the restart, the Pontiac pace car is just about to head for pit road once again, and the green flag is about to come out on lap number 140. So we'll only have about 20 laps to go when the green flag comes out. That's Dale Earnhardt on the left of your screen. He's the leader of the race. Michael Waltrip is on the right. He is 1 lap down. Pace car is off the track. And we're waiting for the green. There it is. Back to racing. Schrader is second, then Marlin, Rudd, Ernie Irvin, Jeff Gordon, and Terry Labonte, then Dale Jarrett.
Remember back early in the race when Earnhardt let Jeff Gordon get 6 or 7 car length advantage on the restart and then blew by him down the back straightaway? Can Schrader and Marlin do the same thing to him this time?
Well, they're back a couple of car lengths. I think Earnhardt wanted to be careful not to get too far out in front so they couldn't do that. But let's see here. He's coming down to the inside. Here comes Schrader. Didn't have a full head of steam there that he could blow him by.
See Sterling Marlin going high.
Bill Elliott, who's running down to the inside.
First 2 cars that are 1 lap down. 19 cars still in the lead lap.
See Bobby Hamilton up there, right behind Darrell Waltrip.
Doing a great job.
He's driving the Dick Moroso Fina Lube car down here this week. That car was driven by Joe Rutland earlier in the year. This is the first race for Bobby Hamilton.
That car finished 5th in the Winston 500 at Talladega with Rutland at the wheel.
There we see the guys, Morgan Shepherd, going under the Hamilton car.
Now he'd go high.
Morgan is 5th in the point standings, was coming into this race. Has a chance to move up with Kyle Petty already out. And David Ellison was 6th, and David having problems here today as well.
Bobby Hamilton has been 1 position higher than he currently is. On the 139th lap, he was 14th. And his starting position, 30th, was the lowest he has been this afternoon.
See Farmer Phil Parsons, Manhunt Auto Auction car. Plus, there was real jockeying up front, trying to figure out where do I want to be. I know they all want to be right there in front, where Dale Earnhardt is.
Yeah.
That graphic there shows that he's led 91 of 141 laps. Well, that means that he's picked up again 5 bonus points for leading the most laps.
Well, he's done that so many times this year, and that has really helped him.
A spread now between Schrader. Here comes Ernie Irvin on the inside.
Oh, I thought they were going to touch.
Irvin is trying to get by Jeff Gordon.
Didn't have anybody to go with him down there, so he had to fall back in line.
Here comes Dale Jarrett. We saw him come in the picture on the inside of Labonte. Takes that spot away.
Rather easily on the inside.
Drove that thing on right on down there and drove right around it.
That puts him up to 7th. Dale Jarrett. Here's another Auto Light Field summary, the way they were running last time around.
Once again, Irvin on the inside of Jeff Gordon.
And he might get Jarrett to go with him this time, so he might have some help once he gets there. I think he looked up in his mirror and saw that. He saw what Jarrett was able to do to Labonte. So Jarrett does come with Gordon, and with Irvin, that might help him get around Gordon.
Long ways to go for these guys to get to the front. They really do need to work together. Looks like it's worked out pretty well this time. Both of them able to get by Jeff Gordon.
Gordon wiggled a little bit there in the middle of the corner. And Terry Labonte came underneath him to take away the position.
And Sterling Marlin sitting there in the middle of that pack of Chevrolets. He's only forward up there. With him, you got 2 in front of him and about 3 or 4 up behind him.
16 laps to go, 144 complete.
Greg Sachs there in that bright colored car up on the high side. Morgan Shepherd, you're going to split them. That's not the place to do it, Morgan, is it? off of that turn. Well, by golly, he made it work. Good drive, Morgan.
I guess he knew, had an idea what was going to happen. He made it look easy, but it's not easy. 21 car made a pit stop on this last caution flag.
They're on 4 fresh tires, and apparently that's helping him. Look at him coming up on the outside of DW now, trying to take another position.
There were 4 cars that made pit stops, as Benny explained to you, because they were at the tail end of the lead lap and weren't going to lose anything. So in addition to Morgan Shepherd, the 68 car of Greg Sachs came in, so did Brett Bodine, and so did Rick Mast.
I think it really helped Morgan. He's just looking for a place to go there right now.
He's hooked up with Ted Musgrave now, the Jasper engine car. See if they can go to the front. Duke on the outside of Mark Martin.
Sachs got a little sideways coming off the corner.
Was not able to get by.
We will not have a race record. We're about 22 miles an hour under the track record held by Bobby Allison, set back in 1980 of 173. We're at 150, almost 152. Now watch the yellow car on the right of your screen.
Oh, he and Bobby Hillen almost collide. Hillen wisely jumped off the gas.
He did. He backed off and let Greg slide up in there because Greg was not going to have any place to go.
Here goes Morgan again on the outside. He's bypassed Darrell. He's bypassed Mark Martin. And there we see Bobby Hillen going by Darrell on the outside.
Darrell's hung out.
Sachs is trying to get by the Western Auto Chevrolet.
Darrell didn't appear to be quite as strong as he was earlier in the race when he moved up into the top 5.
Greg Sachs started 23rd, has been as high as 7th, currently is 14th. And on lap 8, he was as low as 31st.
DJ's trying to move around Ernie Irvan.
Ernie Irvan, yeah.
There he goes. It's Labonte's trying to help him.
Yep. They got to run off the turn 2, but the caution is out again.
Once again, there's a car spinning.
Looks like Phil Parsons.
Yeah.
It is.
This is down the backstretch. Phil Parsons will bring out another caution flag on the 148th lap.
Just 12 to go. This will be a fairly quick caution because we see Phil is already moving.
Yes, he just got off the track, slid down through the grass. Don't think he hit anything. The car doesn't appear to be damaged, but it does bring out another caution, and it will bunch the field again for the final 12 laps of the Pepsi 400. Looking down on Daytona International Speedway once again from Airship Shamu, the NASCAR Winston Cup Pepsi 400, the 15th race of the 93 season, is within 11 laps now of being over. 149 have been completed. We are cautioned because of Phil Parsons' trek through the grass down the backstretch.
I think you're right, Bob. I don't think he hit anything. I don't know what happened to cause him to get into the spin, but he spun around in the grass down there. And
at least that thing stayed on 4 tires.
Yeah. He over to the left is a dirt bank, and he came pretty close to it, but he didn't hit it. Mark Martin is in the pits. Jerry?
They changed right side tires on the Valvoline 4 Thunderbird. Still a serious push problem in that car, and Steve Mill told me they weren't really a threat possibly to win it because of the bad push, but they get some fresh trouble. They may be able to get a good finish. They have been on pit road, and here's the January draft Pontiac of Rusty Wallace, the car number 2. He has changed 4 tires, and he heads back to turn 1.
Phil Parsons is also in the pits. He's rolling again, coming out. Davey Allison remains on pit road. Brett Bodine completed a pit stop, and he's rolling again. So we're set up here now, and we will be going green in a little bit to conclude this Pepsi 400 here at Daytona. We'll be right back. About a half a lap away from a restart. They will complete lap 151 when they get the green flag, so we'll have 9 laps to go.
Now's the time to play whatever strategy you have.
How
Lay
wild
back.
will they get?
Yeah, that's the question. That's the scary part.
At least at Talladega, they only had a couple of laps to go. They got more laps to go this time.
Here are your sleepers that you guys woke up just before the race started. Rick Wilson is 9th. Michael Waltrip is 11th. Mast is 12th. Musgrave 14th. Strickland 15th. And Hensley 19th.
But
Excepting Michael Waltrip is a lap down. He's really in 20th position, I think.
it says started on that.
That's
Oh, started. I beg your pardon.
Correct.
I beg your pardon. You're talking about start. Okay.
But the real sleeper in this group has really been running well. He's currently running 3rd. The number 8 car, Sterling Marlin.
And he was asleep and you couldn't get him to the picture.
That's actually, yeah.
The crowd rises to its feet as we get set for the final few laps of this race. The green flag is out. Here we go. Earnhardt is up front. It's Schrader, Marlin, Rudd, Jarrett, Irvin, Labonte, Gordon, Morgan Shepherd, Ted Musgrave.
Schrader has fallen back a couple of car lengths. About right now, he's going to stand on that thing and try his best. Uh-oh. See, Earnhardt backed off. He backed off, so that would take that advantage away from Schrader. See how Michael Waltrip has pulled ahead? Earnhardt backed off up in the corner. Really smart,
It is a
smart
move, yeah.
Knowing that Schrader couldn't dip down to the inside because of the lap car.
He used Michael Waltrip perfectly up in 1 and 2. What a great job, Earnhardt. Now he's up to speed. He don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah. Dale Earnhardt has only won 1 time here at Daytona, and that was this race in 1990. The 5th car in line there is the other Dale, Jarrett, 2nd in points.
But the way it stands right now, Bob, he'll lose points to Dale Earnhardt today. He was 213 behind coming in. We know that both of them have led. Earnhardt has led the most, so that's 5 more points. So that's 218 besides whatever the positions separate them at the end of the race.
We see a little gap between Dale Jarrett and Ricky Rudd. Is his car a little off the pace, or is he just trying to get a run on these guys?
Here's Dale Jarrett's most recent history from lap 120, where he was 6th, fell back to 10th, moved to 9th, and is all the way up to 5th now as 153 laps are completed. Dale started 13th in the field.
Sterling Marlin not able to, it doesn't look like, Ned, he can keep up with these guys in these Chevrolets the first couple laps on his restart. It looks like that he really needs to run.
Yeah, I think it takes a little while for him to get going. Look at Ted Musgrave here on the move, and Bobby Hillin down on the inside. Some good racing back there for, what about the 7th, 8th, 9th, and 10th positions?
Mark Martin's back there. He's stopped just a moment ago, put on 4 fresh tires.
And look
He's
what
going to make it 3 abreast.
Yeah, down the trioval. That's a tough place to do it. Those new tires apparently they can do that with them.
Well, you got to feel that Ted Musgrave is going to be a very popular driver at the end of this season. He has performed so well in that car, and if he does want to leave the team that he's associated with, you would think that a lot of car owners will be looking at him.
There we see Mark Martin going by Morgan Shepherd.
And Rick Wilson.
And Rick Wilson closing in on the back of Ted Musgrave.
Up front, it's Dale Earnhardt leading him through the 4th corner on to the tri-oval.
Completed 1:55. 5 to go.
Irvin making a move on the outside of Dale Jarrett coming off of turn 4. And here's Jeff Gordon trying to pass Jarrett on the outside as well.
Oh, they got Dale on the hung on the inside. No one to draft with, Ned.
Yep.
And Ernie Irvin moves up on top of Ricky Rudd.
He's found him a groove up there that's working for him.
But Rudd comes off the corner and squeezes up right in front of Ernie.
Inches.
Oh, man.
Boy, Rudd has really come on the last few races, including that win last week, and in the top 5 here in this one. The Unical bonus money is $68,400 to Ernie Irvin and Ernie Irvin only. He was a pole sitter.
And we can see he's got an awfully fast race car. We can see how he closed up right on the back bumper of Ricky Rudd. Four to go once they get to the line.
If Earnhardt holds on to win, it will be his 4th victory of 1993.
Which will tie him with Rusty Wallace. And here's Ernie Irvan going by Ricky Rudd down on the inside. They're battling for 4th position.
But Jeff Gordon pulled up on the back of Ricky Rudd and said, I got to help my teammate out, and put Ernie.
Yep.
Oh, Sterling Marlin. Evidently he got a little loose or something.
Now Gordon is going around Rudd, and everybody's looking for a place around Ricky.
I think Ricky had to back off because of
Sterling Marlin, whatever that was.
Yep.
Here comes Mark Martin with those 4 fresh tires. He's on the inside with Ernie Irvan.
Well, what a smart move Steve Milne then made to bring him in and put 4 fresh tires on that car.
Sterling Marlin really needs some help. He's falling back. He needs Jeff Gordon to hang on. Say, come on, Jeff, get right with me. Let's go. Here goes Mark by Dale Jarrett. Car's handling very well now. They talk about fighting a push problem. Looks like those 4 tires taking a lot of that problem away, Ned.
Yes, sir. It really has put the car on the go. That was a very, very smart move.
2.5 laps to go.
Boy, if Kenny Schrader doesn't win the race, it's sure going to be a moral victory for him because of the problems that he has had this weekend, starting 41st and running in 2nd. 2 laps to go. 158 are completed.
And Earnhardt this year at Daytona, Talladega, Daytona almost won the 500. At Talladega was the cream of the crop that lost. Can he hold on here today in the Pepsi 400? The only sign of weakness we've seen today with Earnhardt was on the long runs after 40, 50 laps. That's not a problem for him right now.
Well, he's had several opportunities with these cautions late in the race to cool the tires, so you're right, it's not a problem for him.
Now with about a car length and a half advantage on Ken Schrader as they come onto the tri-oval and look for the white flag. There it is, 1 lap to go.
Okay, who has what? Earnhardt wonders, how much does Schrader have?
It's time to show your stuff if you have any. Jeff Gordon looking to the high side of Sterling Marlin in 4th position. Rudd is in 5th. Earnhardt hangs on to the lead as Gordon drives up right on the back bumper of Sterling Marlin.
Oh, here comes Sterling. Schrader on the outside, Sterling on the inside.
Just ran out of racetrack, didn't have enough racetrack on the inside to make the move on Earnhardt and had to slide up behind him. That could give Dale the advantage and the win, as a matter of fact. Here they come off the 4th corner. Schrader and Marlin are side by side. Dale Earnhardt is going to win the Pepsi 400, and for 2nd it is Marlin, just inches over Ken Schrader, with Ricky Rudd, I believe, 4th, and Jeff Gordon in 5th.
Wow, what a run.
Whew. Man, oh man. But Earnhardt finally does capture a victory in a race that he has dominated.
55th career win. Jerry is with Richard Childress.
And RC, congratulations. What a way to win it by dominating.
It's a great day for the whole team. But Dale, right there on the last lap, he said the car got so loose on him about lost it in front of the whole field. So, you got to give Dale all the credit in the world here. We just tried to keep the car as good for him today as we could and made some adjustments. And Andy Petrie and a whole bunch of guys just worked real hard.
Makes up for a little bit of disappointment back in February.
Yeah, we'll get that 500 yet. Dale deserves to win it as long as he's been trying here. So I sure hope we can do it this year.
The celebration continues down here in the Goodrich pits.
Dale Earnhardt wins. Sterling Marlin finishes 2nd and records his best finish of 1993. Dale Earnhardt from Kannapolis, North Carolina, adds to his points lead in the battle for the 1993 NASCAR Winston Cup. He came into this event 213 ahead of Dale Jarrett. Earnhardt completes the clean sweep. He led the most laps, and he has won the race. He is just about to climb out of the GM Goodwrench Chevrolet in Victory Lane, where he will be met with a tremendous round of applause. for his second win ever at Daytona in a points-paying race. Here's Jerry Punch with the winner.
And Dale leans over and gives Taylor Nicole and wife Teresa a big kiss here with the family celebrating. Dale, congratulations on another great victory.
It's hot out there, Jerry. Thank good Lord for a good clear day. It's a little hot, but had a great day. And I tell you, Skid Ridge Chevrolet run pretty good. It run pretty loose out there. And I pushed off for 2 over there, and then I got loose, and I had to come off the throttle just a tick. And about lost it. Had to come off the throttle. Strader pinned him out against the wall, and the car, he come to the inside. I blocked him off, and then they got to racing each other, and I just come back to the line.
While you catch your breath, let me ask you, Dale, that last restart as he leans over here and gets ready to get a big gulp of Gatorade. On the last restart, it looked like you backed off a little bit so the guys wouldn't be able to get a run at you.
Well, I was trying just to start where all of them would go together. Tough restarting here. I hate to restart on these speedways, these restrictors.
Well, he is obviously exhausted here, and he leans over. They're going to get some cool cloths to him. He's going to sit down and get something to drink, and they're going to put a cooler here where he can obviously get a seat here and catch his breath. But another victory for Dale Earnhardt, his second in the Pepsi 400. Bob?
And you'll never be able to convince me that race drivers are not athletes, because he has been through a lot here at Daytona today and obviously shows it.